Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Shenhao. A great start and the CO will give me a baby. Chapter 41. Miss Yuju, you can't go in. At a certain moment, there was a noise outside the box, but then a figure banged on the ground of the box. This person was the staff member just now. Zhao Yuju, you are so brave. Li Shiqing saw the visitor's pretty face turned cold. This was her private property, so she dared to do this. HMPH. Li Shiqing, get out of here and have nothing to do with you today. Zhao Yuju was not afraid of Li Shiqing. Her eyes fell on Xia Bining's face that made her jealous. Xia Bining, brother Wenhao must be looking for a fool like you. Snapped. Before Zhao Yuju finished speaking, he was slapped away by Li Shiqing. Zhao Yuju, if you try to slander Bing Ning again, believe it or not, I will tear your mouth apart. Li Shiqing, how dare you hit me? Zhao Yuju's face was livid, and his eyes were full of resentment. Destroy her. Yes, miss. The two top masters of the Zhao family immediately took action, and with a whoosh, a top master appeared next to Li Shiqing. It was the person sent by the Li family to protect him. HMPH. Zhao Yuju sneered. Her target from the beginning was Xia Bining. Bang. There was a dull sound, and a figure appeared in front of Xia Bining at the critical moment, and the Zhao family's master was repulsed. Uncle Fu, that's great. Li Shiqing couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when she saw Uncle Fu arriving. Xia family, you dare to stop me. Zhao Yuju narrowed her eyes. The Zhao family was far from comparable to the Xia family. Miss Yuju, you have gone too far. Although the Zhao family is one of the four major families in Jinling, do you really think that the Zhao family can cover the sky with one hand? You. Zhao Yuju couldn't help but froze when he heard this, and glared at Xia Bining fiercely. Just wait for me. Wait a minute. At this moment, the voice of Yi Zan, who had been silent until now, came out, and everyone's eyes fell on him. What do you want? Zhao Yuju frowned, but then his face became full of ridicule, while Yi Zan smiled slightly. Now Qianjin restaurant is my property. You think I, Qianjin, can come and leave whenever I want? Snapped. Without any warning, Yi Zan slapped him back 4 or 5 meters away, and blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. If you cause trouble to Bing Ning again, I will kill you. PFF'd. A mouthful of blood spurted out, and the faces of the two top masters of the Zhao family changed with gloominess, because the two top masters on the opposite side were targeting them. Ouch. Li Shiqing looked at the field with a face full of disbelief. Bing Ning, your man is so powerful. I don't know. Xia Bining looked at Yi Zan blankly. It seemed that this guy's skills were similar to those of his best friend, but it felt amazing to be protected. Walk. The two top experts looked cold and looked at Yi Zan deeply. That kid is crazy. Do you really think he has a background from the Xia family or even the Jinling Li family? Yi Zan, can you lend me a moment to speak? Uncle Fu glanced at Zhao Yuju who was leaving in embarrassment, and said. Uncle Fu, you. Xia Bingning was anxious. Uncle Fu could find that this person was obviously sent by his father himself. Did he finally know? Good. Yi Zan smiled slightly, then Chongdong scratched Xiao Chong's nose. Wait, my husband will be back soon. Xia Bining responded in a womanly manner, which made Li Shiqing's eyes widen. Is this reaction the best friend she knew? Not long after, there was another box. Yi Zan, be careful. Fu Bo warned loudly, because he wanted to test, and Qi's lightning attack came, the intensity of which was far beyond the scope of a first-class master. Test. Yi Zan smiled slightly, knowing that this was a special meeting with his father-in-law. In this case. Bang. With one punch, Uncle Fu was knocked 5 or 6 meters away. His breath surged all over his body, and he looked at Yi Zan with disbelief on his face. You could be a martial arts master. Shocking. So shocking. Uncle Fu never expected that the guy who humiliated the Xia family 4 years ago would be so powerful. What does this mean for a 23-year-old martial arts master? Not to mention Jinling, even the imperial capital probably doesn't have it. As the temptation over, Yi Zan raised the corner of his mouth and continued. Then please go back and tell my father-in-law, I hope it's just this once. Ahem, the Xia family doesn't dare. Uncle Fu coughed dryly and bowed down. Yi Zan's strength alone was enough for him to do this. Correct. Yi Zan casually took out 3 portions of the physical enhancement liquid, these 3 portions of the liquid should be considered as betrothal gifts. Ah, betrothal gift. Uncle Fu looked at his hands blankly. Of course he knew that Yizan and his young lady had already received the certificates, otherwise Sha Binning's father would not have sent him in such a hurry. Uncle Fu can use a portion and he knows its usefulness. The corners of Yizan's mouth curled up. He would definitely win the first confrontation with his father-in-law. Okay, Uncle Fu pondered for a moment, and he naturally knew that Yizan didn't have to go to such trouble if he wanted to do harm to him. Drink the potion. Powerful energy surged into the body, and with a buzzing sound, at a certain moment Fu Bo's aura suddenly entered the realm of a martial arts master, and Gangqi surged around his body. This is a martial arts master. Feeling the surging power, Uncle Fu's face was full of disbelief. Then he looked at Yizan and his eyes changed. I've met my uncle. Whether I admit it or not, you will be the Sha family's uncle from now on. Uncle Fu is not stupid. He naturally knows that the young lady will have such a powerful person to protect her in the future, and no one can hurt her. You deserve this. I heard Bing Ning say that you have treated him as your own since you were a child. Yizan waved his hands indifferently and continued, I'll leave first. Go back and tell my father-in-law to let him take care of himself. Farewell to my uncle. The corners of Uncle Fu's mouth twitched and he bowed in salute. How dare he act so disrespectfully at this moment? It wasn't until Yizan left that Uncle Fu breathed a sigh of relief, but is my uncle really just a martial arts master? Why does it still feel unfathomable even if he breaks through? Soon, Yizan came to the field. Yizan, are you okay? Sha Binning naturally knew that Uncle Fu was here with his father's mission, and hurriedly stepped forward to show concern. Li Shiqing looked on with envy. If the wealthy young men of Jinling knew about this, it might cause a huge disturbance. Fine. Fu Bo came to tell me that my father-in-law agreed that we should be together. Sha Binning's face turned red as she thought of something. Really? Certainly. The doting hit Sha Binning's head, and Li Shiqing was caught off guard by the wave of dog food. Okay, you guys just stay here. Li Shiqing took a deep breath and waved her hands. I'm leaving first, I can't stand your nonsense. Shiqing, what are you talking about? Sha Binning stamped her little feet and glared at her best friend, then her eyes fell on Yizan and hummed. Look, it's all your fault for spreading such dog food. Dog food. Yizan was stunned when he heard this. What dog food? Did we spread dog food? If not, Sha Binning looked at her best friend fleeing in embarrassment, but weren't they supposed to be quarreling just now? Why did they become dog food? My Bing Ning wife, if it is really dog food, do you think I can spread it myself? Yizan said jokingly when he saw the beautiful lady who was calling an army to investigate the crime. Sha Binning wanted to say something, but she was speechless for a moment to refute. Yes, how can a person spread dog food? Hateful. Why would I mess with this guy? I shouldn't. I obviously pay attention to propriety. On the other side, the nanny is in the car. Jingle bell bell. Li Shiqing's cell phone rang, and she picked it up. Hey, Dad, what did you say? Song Wenhao is dead. Okay, I get it. In the black nanny car, Li Shiqing was stunned for a moment after hanging up the phone, and then she laughed happily. Miss, what are you doing? The top experts on the side were stunned, obviously not understanding why their lady was acting like this. Hey, that scumbag Song Wenhao was killed. Do you think I can be unhappy? What? The face of the top master of the Li family changed drastically. Song Wenhao was killed. How can this be? In fact, this information has a big impact on the top players of the Li family. Nothing is impossible. Li Shiqing waved her hand and then said, my dad said that the person who took action was most likely a martial arts master. Both the top masters of the Song family were killed with one move. The Song family is in big trouble. When Li Shiqing thought of this, her eyes lit up. In other words, my engagement with that scumbag has expired, hee. If you let me know who did it, I'll pay you a lot of money. Ahem, miss, be careful what you say. The eyes of the top master of the Li family were twitching wildly. If these words were spread to the Song family today, it would probably cause a lot of trouble. Jinling, Sha family villa. In the study. AFU, how are you? Sha Guofeng saw Uncle Fu returning and asked with concern. Master, look, Uncle Fu did not speak, but released the aura around him, and a strong energy surged out. Sha Guofeng felt the fluctuation of Uncle Fu's aura. This is the martial arts master. Ah Fu, you have broken through the martial arts master. For a moment, Sha Guofeng's face was filled with joy. You must know that the martial arts master is the top existence in Jinling. The Sha family will have more protection if the martial arts master is in charge. Good. Uncle Fu took a deep breath and looked in the direction of Diwan Villa. I am able to break through, thanks to my uncle's gift. Uncle. Sha Guofeng was stunned when he heard this, and then looked at Uncle Fu, whom he trusted the most, in disbelief. You mean Yi Zan? It is undeniable that after Sha Guofeng found out about his daughter's getting the certificate with that guy, he already acknowledged this fool son-in-law who broke up their father and daughter. Yes. Uncle Fu thought about what happened in the box of Qianjin restaurant, swallowed his saliva and continued. Sir, you may not know that I am already a martial arts master. PFF. Cough. After Sha Guofeng heard this, his face was filled with confusion, and then his eyes widened. Martial arts grandmaster, are you talking about that brat? 23-year-old martial arts master. Sha Guofeng almost choked to death with a mouthful of tea. Uncle Fu was not surprised by this and solemnly said, moreover, even though I have become a martial arts master, I still feel that my uncle is unfathomable. It is very possible that my uncle's strength is in the middle or even late stage of martial arts master. That boy. Sha Guofeng was speechless. His daughter actually had a relationship with such a peerless genius 4 years ago. He was thinking with his toes to know what this meant. No wonder. Even Ah Fu calls him uncle. With this strength, the whole of Jinling is probably invincible. Besides, Fu Bo paused his voice and continued. Qianjin restaurant, Zhao Yuzhu of the 4 major families of the Zhao family slandered the young lady, and my uncle slapped her. My uncle will be in big trouble next. While speaking, Uncle Fu took out 2 portions of the medicinal solution. Sir, this is the magical medicinal solution that allowed me to break through to become a martial arts master. With this, our Sha family can be invincible in Jinling. After a pause, Uncle Fu continued. Besides, my uncle said this is the betrothal gift for the Sha family. Oh, Sha Guofeng took one of the medicinal solutions with a bitter taste in his mouth. He didn't want to accept it, but the temptation was too great. Gu. After drinking the medicinal liquid, Sha Guofeng was 1 step away from the top master. A buzzing aura surged out, and he finally stopped until he reached half a step to become a martial arts master. Really? Uncle Fu felt the fluctuation of Sha Guofeng's aura. Congratulations, sir, for being promoted to a half-step martial arts master. This liquid is so magical. Who is that brat? At this moment, Sha Guofeng had to admit his son-in-law. After all, he even used the betrothal gift. And another potion will most likely give the Sha family another martial arts master. In this way, although the Jinling Sha family is not one of the 4 major families, it has strength that surpasses the 4 major families. Ding dong. At this moment, Sha Guofeng received a message on his cell phone. He lowered his eyebrows and his expression suddenly changed. Master, what's wrong? Uncle Fu couldn't help but frown when he saw Sha Guofeng's expression. He should be happy to know that his uncle is so powerful now. AFU, something happened. Sha Guofeng handed the phone to Uncle Fu, and Uncle Fu, who was looking at the news, couldn't help but couldn't believe it. What? Song Wenhao is dead. Moreover, the Song family has lost 3 top masters in a row. Martial arts master takes action. Uncle Fu thought for a moment, and then thought about the scumbag Song Wenhao of the Song family who has always coveted his own lady. Sir, do you think it was my uncle who did this? Sha Guofeng. Hearing this, Sha Guofeng fell silent. He would not have believed it before, but now that brat is a martial arts master, and there is a martial arts master behind him. In terms of motives and possibilities, he is naturally the most suspicious. Taking a deep breath, Sha Guofeng looked at the distance of Jinling. No matter who it is, please tell everyone in the Sha family to keep a low profile during this period. I always feel like a storm is about to happen in Jinling. Uncle Fu nodded silently when he heard this, and then his eyes were quite hopeful. Master, actually I hope this person is my uncle. If this is the case, then perhaps the Sha family will be able to soar into the sky with this big reshuffle in Jinling. After a pause, Uncle Fu continued. Have you ever thought about it? First the Zhang family, the Shen family, the Qin family, and now the Song family. Behind all of this, I have some issues with my uncle. Listening to Uncle Fu's words, Sha Guofeng's eyes narrowed even more. If so, that kid would be too scary. Villa number 1 Diwan. Papa, Daddy, Mommy is back. Xin Shintongtong heard the sound of the supercar and ran over with her little feet. Cousin, sister-in-law, you are back. Chen Shueqi laughed and had a lot of fun playing with the two little guys. Yizan nodded to his cousin, and then entered the villa with Xingxin Tongtong in his arms. Have you missed Daddy? Okay, I want it so much. Xingxin Tongtongmu's left and right gave Daddy a kiss. Such a scene made the maids extremely envious, while Sha Bining smiled bitterly. After dinner, returned to the room. Wow, the bathroom door opened, and the beautiful Sha Bining appeared in front of Yizan wrapped in a bath towel. Under the warm yellow light, her delicate face was even more beautiful. Still watching, I'm not tired of it. Sha Bining glared at Yizan. This guy was like this every time he came out of the shower. Hey, of course I won't get tired of it. I will never get tired of watching it for the rest of my life. Yizan stood up and hugged the beautiful lady into his arms. Even though he was wrapped in a bath towel, he still couldn't hide her proud figure. The four eyes look at each other, and they are surrounded by beautiful scenery. I'm going to change clothes. At a certain moment, when Sha Bining was about to escape, before she could make a move, someone blocked her lips, and a passionate kiss quietly started. Wow, so sweet, so why didn't you put up much resistance to that guy, so angry? I don't know how much time has passed. Her lips were parted, and Sha Bining's face was so red that it went behind her ears, all because that guy didn't take advantage of her enough. Correct. Yizan then took out the pendant guanyin tears from the auction. Here, I'll give this to you. Give me. Seeing a certain guy's move, Sha Bining was stunned. This could block the attacks of top experts. Certainly. Originally, my husband bought it for my wife Bing Ning. While talking, Yizan had already put the pendant on Sha Bining's neck, having forgotten about it because of the pink towel incident yesterday. Since the host gave Bing Ning's wife guanyin, I will donate 5 billion RMB. Hearing the sudden voice, Yizan was slightly stunned and felt better again. Then, bring up the properties panel. Name, Yizan. Realm, martial arts great master perfection. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, MAX second only to tomato readers. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, immersive sound, God-level beast control, permanent experience of Kato finger, omnipotent music. Items. Diwan number 1 Villa X1, 30 million extended version of Bugatti Veyron 100% shares of the group. Wealth, 197.8 billion RMB. Seeing that the wealth value in the attribute panel had increased a lot, the corners of Yizan's mouth curved. Jingle bell bell. But at this moment, Sha Bining's cell phone rang, and she saw that it was her best friend calling. Hey, Shiqing, what did you say? Song Wenhao is dead. Okay, I get it. After hanging up the phone, Sha Bining froze on the spot and couldn't come back to her senses for a long time. What's wrong? Yizan saw his beautiful wife's dazed look, and deftly took off the towel and held the two bears tightly. Sha Bining felt someone's excessive behavior and slapped his big hand away. Yizan, Shiqing just called to say that Song Wenhao was killed. With Yizan's insight, he naturally heard the call just now and pretended to be surprised. Song Wenhao, that scumbag was killed. Sha Bining naturally didn't care about someone's name. She took a deep breath and nodded. However, she was relieved in her heart. This was not a bad thing. After all, Yizan would not be in danger for the time being. In fact, she knew Song Wenhao's temperament very well. However, Sha Bining didn't know that the person who killed Song Wenhao was the man sleeping next to her. Jinling, Sha family, Sha Guofeng, come out here. A loud voice resounded throughout the Sha family villa, followed by no less than 100 figures surrounding the approaching dozen figures. The leader was named Song Qingtian, the second master of the Song family in Jinling. At the same time, he also has the identity of vice president of Jinling Martial Arts Association. The top aura was surging with Song Qingtian as the center. He couldn't swallow this breath when he learned that his nephew had been killed. Song Qingtian, you are so presumptuous. Sha Guofeng's face was livid, and he sighed in his heart. The thing he least wanted to happen happened. HMPH. As the second master of the Song family, Song Qingtian has a martial arts master sitting behind him. How can he be afraid of the Sha family? Wen Hao was killed. Please give me a reasonable explanation from your Sha family. He had naturally investigated. There had just been a conflict with Yi Zan at the auction, and something happened immediately afterwards. Based on his understanding of his nephew, he would definitely take action against Sha Bining as soon as he saw him. Therefore, the Sha family is naturally the first target of suspicion. If you don't satisfy me today, I, Song Qingtian, will destroy your Sha family. Anger surged to the sky and pressed towards Sha Guofeng. While Sha Guofeng was weighing the situation, his eyes became sharp. Song family, you have really thought that I, Sha Guofeng, can't be crushed over the years. Kai. Song Qingtian sneered and looked at Sha Guofeng in surprise. Long time no see, Sha Guofeng, you are very tough. Let me see where you get your confidence. Back then, the Song family used its power to force Sha Bining to marry into the Song family. At that time, Sha Guofeng already hated the Song family to the core. Today, he threatens to destroy their Sha family indiscriminately, with new and old grudges. Bang! Sha Guofeng punched out, and Song Qingtian, who was originally shouting, was directly punched 7 or 8 meters away. A mouthful of blood sprayed out, and his whole face turned pale. Vice President Song. Everyone in the Jinling Martial Arts Association was frightened and hurriedly stepped forward to help. PFF. Cough cough. Song Qingtian stabilized his body and spurted out another mouthful of blood, but he looked at the opposite side with disbelief on his face. Sha Guofeng, you, a half-step martial arts master. How could you possibly do it in only half a year? Shock. Song Qingtian was so shocked. 6 months ago, Sha Guofeng was not even a top expert, but now he has become a half-step martial arts master. How could he not be surprised? Song Qingtian, I'm warning you, if you dare to be so arrogant again, don't blame me for not giving you the Song family face. Sha Guofeng would not have dared to do this before, but now that the Sha family has 2 martial arts masters and 1 half-step martial arts master, what does the Jinling Song family have to fear? You are fine. Sha Guofeng, your Sha family is really surprising. Taking a deep breath, Song Qingtian knew that he had suffered a big loss today. However, Sha Guofeng suddenly became so powerful. Could it be that Wen Hao really killed himself? Regardless of whether he did it or not, the Sha family must kill him or else there will be endless trouble. Jinling, Zhao family manor. In the room, asshole. Zhao Yuzhu looked at the scarlet slap mark in the mirror, her pretty face full of ferocity. Sha Bining, I want you to die. Shame. What a shame. Zhao Yuzhu, as the darling of the 4 major families in Jinling, had never been treated like this before. She actually dared to hit him with that pretty boy. Jingle bell bell. At this moment, Zhao Yuzhu's cell phone rang, and she saw the caller ID was connected. Hey, second uncle. Obviously, the caller was Song Qingtian, but when he learned the news, his expression changed drastically. Second uncle, what do you mean brother Wen Hao was killed? It's probably related to Sha Bining's mistress. Click. After hanging up the phone, Zhao Yuzhu directly crushed the phone into pieces. Although she was not as strong as Li Shiqing, she was still close to a second-rate master. Now that she thought about it carefully, a certain figure emerged in her mind. It must be that boy. Zhao Yuzhu's face was cold. She was already close to a second-rate master. When Sha Bining's mistress hit her, she didn't even have a chance to react. That guy was at least a first-rate master, or even stronger. At the same time, the Song family manor. Sha family, you are finished. Song Qingtian narrowed his eyes, thinking about today's humiliation. Now that I have dragged the Zhao family into trouble, you are still alive. Anyone who touches my Song family will die. For a time, the situation in Jinling was turbulent, and no one knew what would happen next. The next day, early morning. The golden sunlight poured into the room, dispelling the last trace of darkness, making a beautiful face even more charming. From Yizan's perspective, it looked super beautiful. A little gentle, the sweet atmosphere was interrupted by a cell phone ringtone. Jingle bell bell. Seeing that it was her mother's phone call, Sha Bining couldn't help but get excited. Hey, Mom. After answering the phone, Sha Bining gave someone a warning look. Apparently that look said everything, telling him not to cause trouble. Haha, Bing Ning didn't disturb you and Xiaoyi's rest. No, oh, Mom, what did you say? Hi, Sha's mother smiled slightly and continued, what's the shame? Mom has been through this. Besides, my daughter is so beautiful. Sha Bining. Mom, if you do this again, I will die. In fact, her mother's words made Sha Bining want to find a crack in the ground to crawl in. Is it wrong for her to be beautiful? Is it wrong for any mother to say that about her daughter? Ahem, I won't tease you anymore. Sha's mother coughed dryly, got to the point and said with a smile, your father said that he wants you to bring Xiaoyi and Xinshentongtong to the family dinner today. After Sha Bining heard this, her heart rose in her throat. Mom, what did you say? My dad, she asked me to take Yizan home for a family dinner. Then, Sha Bining thought of what Yizan said yesterday that his father agreed to their marriage. Okay, deal. Do. Before Sha Bining could reply, Sha's mother had already hung up the phone, not giving her a chance to refuse. She knew her daughter Sha's mother too well. Sha Bining suddenly panicked. It had been 4 years. This was the first time in 4 years that her father had relented. He had never said anything before. How could he suddenly change his mind? It was so strange. She naturally knows how much impact her unmarried pregnancy had on the Sha family 4 years ago. Because of her, the Sha family became the school beauties of the entire Jinling family. Wife Bing Ning, why is your mother-in-law looking for you? The reaction was so great. Sha Bining took a deep breath. My mother just called and said that my father asked me to take you back to the family dinner. My father-in-law's family banquet. Isn't this a good thing? Yizan said nonchalantly. After all, his first confrontation with his father-in-law was a complete victory. Ahem, please be more serious. Sha Bining coughed dryly. You don't know my relationship with my father. In the past 4 years, he has never been like this. Don't be afraid, he will eat you when the time comes. Sha Bining was curious as to whether this guy was really confident or just pretending to be so sure that his father would give him a good look. However, he didn't know that the man sent by his old man was almost destroyed by his own man. Eat me, Yizan smiled slightly and said domineeringly. I'm just kidding, it's not that I look down on my father-in-law. I can him down with one finger. PFF'd. Sha Bining was amused when she saw a certain guy talking shamelessly. She knocked her father down with one finger. This guy was really good at bragging. She had the best say in how powerful her father was. You will die if you don't brag. However, it was this joke that made Sha Bining no longer so nervous, but she didn't know that what her man said was true. It was light for Yizan to lay down his father-in-law with one finger. Correct. Yizan smiled slightly and continued. I don't know what my father-in-law usually likes, so I have to bring some gifts. Hearing Yizan's words, Sha Bining nodded slightly, which was like a human saying, well, my father usually likes to drink wine, drink tea and so on. Oh, Yizan was stunned when he heard this. He drank and drank tea. This father-in-law really took over all the man's preferences. The test host wants to give a gift to my father-in-law, and he will give me 10 kilograms of ambergris nectar tea and 6 limited edition bottles of Isla whiskey. Yizan was stunned when he heard the gift pushed by the system. Okay, now even the etiquette is omitted. However, Yizan didn't know how precious these 2 gifts were, each of which was priceless. Sha's father also changed his view of his son-in-law greatly because of this. Of course, this is all a story later. I got it. Yizan nodded and said. Sha Bining sighed. For some reason she always felt like something was going to happen. Her father's behavior was so abnormal, why did he suddenly let them go home for a family dinner? Could it be that my conscience has discovered that I feel sorry for myself? Master, good morning, madam. When she came to the living room, the maids greeted her with super sweet voices. Sha Bining's face turned slightly red. Obviously she had just finished being massaged by some guy. As for what happened, no one knows. Young madam, you feel better again. Yeah, I'm so envious. The maids were chattering, while Xingxin Tongtong and Chen Shuiqi were playing on the lawn outside the villa, bathing in the golden sunshine. The scene was peaceful and beautiful. Daddy, Mommy. When Xingxin Tongtong saw Daddy and Mommy getting up, she ran over immediately. Apparently Aunt Shuiqi suddenly felt bad. Cousin, where are you going today? Chen Shuiqi asked while running a live broadcast, recording a beautiful and brand new day. Oh, I'm going to your sister-in-law's house to meet my father-in-law today. Chen Shuiqi. What, cousin, you are going to your sister-in-law's house to meet the parents? Fans in the live broadcast room were also excited at this moment. I'll knock, my cousin wants to meet my sister-in-law's parents, woo woo woo. My sister-in-law is so beautiful, her family must be very rich. Cousin, does my sister-in-law have any sisters? Sister-in-law, I love you, okay. Quote. In just a short time, the number of fans in Chen Shuiqi's live broadcast room increased by thousands. Obviously, this stunt is unprecedentedly powerful. Mama, do we really want to go to Grandma's house? Shin Shintong looked at her mom. We can see Grandpa again. The corner of Xia Binning's mouth twitched slightly. Although her father had had a tense relationship with her for 4 years, he had nothing to say to the two little guys. Maybe it was because they were related to each other in the next generation. Yes, long live Mom. The two little guys were excited and had no idea what going to Grandma's house meant to Mom. Soon, the Xia family villa came closer. Hello, miss. When they arrived at the villa, all the maids looked stunned. Obviously they did not expect the young lady to come to the villa. Xia Binning nodded slightly, and the family entered the villa. Bingning, Xiaoyi, you are here. Xia's mother has been preparing food and waiting for a long time. Today is a perfect opportunity for her daughter to reconcile with her father, so she naturally wants to be more careful. Hey, Xiaoyi, you can come here. What gifts can you buy? Mother Xia waved her hand, but still let Uncle Fu take it. At this time, Yi Zan saw a middle-aged man for the first time. It was Xia Guofeng, a half-step martial arts master. Dad, Xia Binning took a deep breath. After all, he knew that his father had been burdened a lot in the past 4 years. Xia Guofeng's mouth twitched. How could he really sever ties with his daughter? Just come back. Uncle Forbes looked at the box of fine wine in his hand and couldn't help but be startled. Uncle, this wine is a limited edition of Isla whiskey. I asked a lot of people to help but I couldn't buy it, so you just got 6 bottles. After hearing this, Xia Guofeng looked at the box of wine. It was the limited edition Isla whiskey that he had been looking for. Master, look. While Forbes was talking, he took out a bottle of Isla whiskey. It was luxurious and fashionable. The bottle was inlaid with 2 gold bars of the same size and even thousands of diamonds. The whole bottle was sparkling. 1 sip was enough to complete the set. House. Is this a diamond? Looking at the luxurious bottle, Xia's mother already knew that this wine was extraordinary. Xia Guofeng's eyes narrowed, and Uncle Fu sighed with emotion. Yes, madam. It is said that this bottle costs $6 million, and the price is unmarketable. When converted into Chinese currency, it costs more than $40 million. The 6 bottles here are probably worth at least $250 million. Hiss. The maids in the Xia family villa all gasped. 6 bottles of wine cost $250 million. In an instant, everyone's eyes changed when they looked at my uncle. Yi Zan, you. Xia Binning did not expect that the wine this guy bought was so extraordinary that even her father could not find it after searching for it for many years. This is too expensive. Xia's mother breathed a deep sigh of relief. Let alone the wine, I'm afraid even the bottle of wine can buy several villas. Let's eat. Xia Guofeng waved his hand and asked people to put it away. This was a good thing that he could only ask for, so naturally he couldn't miss it. Correct. Yi Zan smiled slightly. I also bought some tea for my father-in-law. Uncle Fu can brew it and have a taste. Okay, Uncle. After hearing this, Uncle Fu took a deep breath and nodded. The master accepted the good wine and naturally admitted his identity as uncle. This is But when he opened the tea leaves, Uncle Fu's mouth twitched. Sir, the legendary ambergris nectar tea. What? When Sha Guofeng heard this, he lost his composure and stood up from his seat. Ambergris nectar, it is said that tens of millions of dollars per kilogram of the best tea. PFF'd. Ahem. Sha Bining was stunned when she heard this. Mom, tens of millions per pound, are you sure? Aren't these 10 kilograms in front of me worth 200 million? The maids. Oh my god. There are tea leaves worth 200 million yuan, and wine worth no less than 250 million yuan. This uncle comes to sell it for 450 million yuan, is he crazy? Uncle, who on earth is he? Ahem, uncle, how did you do this? Uncle Fu couldn't help but smack his lips. This handwriting was so shocking that it couldn't be bought with money at all. Xiaoyi, what do you want me to say? Sha's mother naturally knew that Yi Zan was doing this to impress her father-in-law, but it was too expensive. For a moment, Sha Guofeng looked at the guy who kissed his daughter 4 years ago, and his eyes changed completely. I am afraid that even the 4 major families in Jinling may not be able to do this. AFU, let's make tea. Mother Sha smiled and said, let's talk while eating. Okay, ma'am. Uncle Fu smiled slightly and left. Sha Bing's eyes were filled with emotion. Yi Zan, thank you. Why are you thanking me? This is what your husband should do. Yi Zan said nonchalantly, and the two whispered to each other, which made Sha's mother smile. The young couple had a pretty good relationship. At this moment, the 2 little guys saw the pendant in Mama's neck and said curiously, Mom, what you are wearing is so beautiful. This is Guanyin tears. When Sha's mother saw the pendant around her daughter's neck, she couldn't help but be startled. Bing Ning, why are you wearing this Guanyin tears? Mom, this is what Yi Zan bought at the last auction. Then, Sha Bining recounted what happened at the last auction. Everyone in the venue was shocked, and Sha Guofeng's face was even more complicated. It took Sha's mother a long time to come back to her senses, her eyelids twitching. Ahem, this Guanyin tear leaf. I spent 5 billion to take it for you. Father Sha and Uncle Fu looked at each other and both saw that the other was shocked. They had a strong feeling that what happened to the Zhang family, Shen family, Qin family and Song family during this time in Jinling was most likely done by this boy. Grandma, even if you have money, you won't bring someone like this to a prodigal family. Xiaoyi, come and eat. Sha's mother looked at Yi Zan, and she was extremely satisfied. This son-in-law was not very kind to his daughter. 5 billion Guanyin tears, just buy it if you want. Although money cannot represent everything, it can sometimes explain a lot of things. At least, his daughter's position in his heart is much higher than 5 billion. Hehe, Daddy is great. Although Shintongtong didn't know what happened specifically, Dad must be super powerful, that's for sure. This tea tastes quite good. Sha's mother took a sip of the ambergris nectar and thought, it's worth tens of millions of pounds of tea. Xiaoyi, come and have a drink with me. Sha Guofeng stopped holding it. With a smile, Uncle Forbes opened a bottle of Isla whiskey and drank it. Good. Yi Zan smiled slightly and drank with his father-in-law. There was no doubt that he would be completely defeated by his father-in-law in this confrontation. After 3 meals, the atmosphere was harmonious. Jingle bell bell. Until a certain moment, Fu Bo's cell phone rang. Hey, what's up? After answering the phone, Uncle Fu's smiling face turned cold. What did you say? Okay, I get it. After hanging up the phone, Uncle Fu looked solemn. Sir, something happened to the group. Half an hour ago, many cooperative companies unilaterally terminated their contracts at the same time, leaving a gap in the group's capital chain of up to 8 billion. After a pause, Fu Bo continued. If we don't make up for it in time, the consequences will be disastrous. What? When Sha Guofeng heard this, his expression changed. It must have been done by the Song family. Song Qingtian just suffered a big loss yesterday, and now something happened to the Sha group. Even a fool wouldn't believe it if he said it had nothing to do with the Song family. Master, not only the Song family, but also the Zhao family. When Sha Bining heard this, her pretty face turned pale. Uncle Fu, the Zhao family and the Song family attacked the Sha family at the same time. How could this happen? There is a funding gap of 8 billion. Where can we get it together at this time? Sha's mother was also worried. After all, if the Shaw group disappeared, the Shaw family would be doomed. Short of money. When Yizan heard this, his eyes narrowed. This was a good opportunity to make money. And, thinking of this, Yizan took out a card. As for money, I have some. Uncle, there are exactly 8 billion in this card for emergency use. Uncle, you. When Uncle Fu heard this, he looked at the bank card on the desk in disbelief. He really didn't expect his uncle to be like this. Yizan, thank you. Sha Bining was moved. There was no doubt that now was the most critical time for the Shaw family. His ability to take action proved that he had made the right choice. No, although Shaw's mother knew that the Shaw group was in urgent need of money, she still weighed the importance. This is too much. What's more, you've already spent enough on Bing Ning. Fine. Yizan waved his hand indifferently. I still have this little money. Joke. How is it possible to take it back? There is no reason to take back the money that was finally swiped out. Ahem, small money. Listening to my uncle's words, the maids' mouths twitched. 8 billion is a small amount of money. The password is Bing Ning's birthday. Looking at the bank card on the table, Sha Guofeng didn't want it, but it was Shaw Group's life-saving money. With a sigh, Sha Guofeng continued. That's all, I'll accept the money. But, after pondering for a moment, Sha Guofeng made some determination. According to the share, Shaw Group will have 20% of your shares from now on. AFU, print out the contract. Sha Guofeng was acting resolutely, and Uncle Fu narrowed his eyes. It seemed that the master had sincerely accepted his uncle, which was a good thing for both the Shaw family and Bing Ning. Yes, sir, Uncle Fu responded and went to prepare the contract. Sha Guofeng looked at his son-in-law with mixed feelings in his heart. But at this moment, Sha Guofeng received a call. Hey, Uncle Sha. After answering the phone, a voice came from the other side, which made Sha Guofeng stunned. Are you, Qin Tianao? Hearing the rather familiar voice, Sha Guofeng was a little confused as to what he could do with him at this time. Yes, Uncle Sha still remembers me. Qin Tianao's attitude was very good, without any hostility. Tianao called because he wants to cooperate with Shaw Group in all aspects. I wonder if Uncle Sha is willing. Oh, after Sha Guofeng heard this, his eyes narrowed. He naturally didn't believe that Qin Tianao was so easy to talk to. You know, this kid had endured for more than 20 years, and once he rose up, he directly wiped out the second bedrooms of the Qin family and even imprisoned his father. How could such a ruthless person take the initiative to offend the Song family and Zhao family at the same time? Is it possible? Sha Guofeng thought of something, and then his eyes fell on Yizan. Is it because of this guy? Thinking about how close Qin Tianao was to Yizan before, it further supported his guess. In other words, Qin Tianao was helping Shaw Group because of Yizan. Thinking of this, Sha Guofeng breathed a sigh of relief. The Shaw Group is naturally happy to cooperate with the Qin family. Opposite Qin Tianao was moved. He was worried that he would not have the chance to repay young Master Yi. Now that the Shaw Group is in crisis, it is a perfect opportunity to repay young Master Yi. Not to mention being tough on the Song family and the Zhao family, he didn't even bat an eyelid when he added the Jinling Li family. And, on the other hand, the Shaw family is the family that Mrs. Yi belongs to. Maintaining this relationship will definitely benefit the Jinling Qin family in the future. Xiaoyi, come to the study and let me tell you something. Sha Guofeng thought for a moment, looked at Yizan and said. Dad, you. Before Sha Bining could finish speaking, she was pulled back by Sha's mother. The situation in the Shaw family was very bad now, and she vaguely guessed what Sha's father would say when they met alone. Don't worry, since your father has accepted Xiaoyi, he won't do anything to him. Sha's mother looked at the study room with the door closed, and continued, besides, Xiaoyi is the benefactor of our Shaw family. In the study, Xiaoyi, it's just you and me now. Sha Guofeng thought for a moment and sighed with relief. Thank you for the 3 doses of medicine you gave to the Shaw family. Sha Guofeng knew this very well. Without the 3 medicinal solutions, the Shaw family's situation would be even worse than it is now, even devastating. Uncle, you're welcome. The betrothal gift is for the Shaw family. After chatting for a while, Sha Guofeng got to the point. Xiaoyi, as Bing Ning's father, I have something to ask you. If, something happens to the Sha family in the future, I want you to take Bing Ning and his mother as far away from Jinling as possible. Obviously, what Sha Guofeng worries most about is his daughter Sha Bining. Detect that my father-in-law has a hidden disease, and give him a master of medical skills as a gift. When the system voice fell, Yi Zan obviously felt that there was a lot of information in his mind. After sorting out the information, he looked at his father-in-law again and couldn't help but be stunned. Curse stitch. With his current level of medical skills, Yi Zan looked at his father-in-law with disbelief. Such a superb acupuncture technique actually contained a curse. Then Yi Zan's eyes fell on the jade pendant worn by his father-in-law, which was obviously the source of the curse. Using curse acupuncture to seal off the dantian, this is the extremely sinister method of annihilating descendants, the technique of cinnamorium. The art of cinnamorium. Yes, this is the cruel technique that Yi Zan remembered after he obtained the medical immortal holy hand. This technique needs to be guided by acupuncture and sealed within an object. The longer the holder wears it, the better the effect of the cursed acupuncture will be. The question is who cast such a vicious technique on my father-in-law's family. Good. Yi Zan nodded slightly and didn't take it to heart. After all, if something happens to him in the Sha family, the probability of the world being destroyed is smaller. Thank you. Sha Guofeng breathed a deep sigh of relief. Although the Sha family now has 2 martial arts masters, plus he is a half-step martial arts master, he is not completely sure of the current situation in Jinling. If so, there are forces outside Jinling involved and everything is unknown, so it can be considered safe. Correct. Uncle, can you lend me this jade pendant for a look? While Yi Zan was speaking, his eyes fell on his father-in-law's jade pendant, because words had already had a great influence on his father-in-law. Jade pendant. After listening to Yi Zan's words, Sha Guofeng's eyes fell on the jade pendant at his waist, and he thought for a moment, okay. This jade pendant is a token of my Sha family. Does Xiao Yi know it? Sha Guofeng who wondered, this jade pendant is an ancestral inheritance of the Sha family. It is said that holding this token can recognize the ancestors and return to the clan in the future. Of course, it is not known whether it is true or not, and naturally he did not know that this jade pendant was a vicious conspiracy from the beginning. After receiving the cursed jade pendant, Yi Zan's whole body trembled, and the cursed acupuncture techniques immediately poured into Yi Zan's dantian. This was because Yi Zan, an expert in art, was bold, otherwise ordinary people would definitely be tricked by the technique of cinnamorium. Yi Zan's eyes condensed, and a powerful aura spread around him. Click. The floor of the study was overwhelmed and cracked, and then spread throughout the room. A strong aura surged around him. Sha Guofeng was shocked by the sudden scene. This is. When Sha Guofeng saw this scene, he looked at Yi Zan with shock and his eyes changed. Martial Arts Grand Master. No, this is stronger than the Martial Arts Grand Master. Is it possible that the Martial Arts Master has reached perfection? In fact, Sha Guofeng was shocked at this moment. If so, the crisis of their Sha family would never be solved. After all, such strength is extremely powerful in the imperial capital. Just, how could it be? How old is the prospective son-in-law in front of him, and can he have the perfect strength of a martial arts master? In view of the fact that the host has absorbed the curse technique, the realm has been upgraded to the early stage of martial arts. Yi Zan opened his eyes and looked at his hands in disbelief. He originally wanted to solve the hidden dangers for his father-in-law and his family, but instead he directly broke through the martial arts master perfection. The early stage of martial arts. Feeling the surging energy in his body, Yi Zan's strength has now increased at least several times. It can be seen that although there is a thin line between the great master of martial arts and the early martial arts master, the gap is huge. Xiao Yi, what kind of strength are you? Sha Guofeng looked at Yi Zan in disbelief. In fact, the pressure from Yi Zan alone gave him inexplicable fear. He had never felt this way before. Ahem, I'm sorry, father-in-law. Condensing his breath, Yi Zan coughed and said, what, the strength is almost the same as that of a martial arts master, so it won't be a problem against a half-step martial arts master. PFF. Sha Guofeng almost choked on his own spit. Although Yi Zan said it very conservatively, it was still an unprecedented shock to him. What? Comparable to a half-step martial arts master. Although I don't know whether it is true or not, judging from the cracks all over the study and the pressure just now, it is almost the same. Even all of this is so difficult to understand. That's right, uncle. Yizan then looked at his father-in-law's pubic area, narrowed his eyes and said, does the Dantian feel unbearable pain every once in a while? Boom. As soon as these words came out, Sha Guofeng's mind went crazy, and his face was filled with disbelief. How did you know? Not only was the tingling in his Dantian unbearable, but his strength was no better than before each time. However, he never mentioned this to outsiders, and even Sha's mother didn't know about it, which made him take a higher look at his future son-in-law. My daughter found a treasure. To be honest, uncle, you are cursed. Yizan did not hide anything and told him about the jade pendant and the technique of cinnamorium. After all, this matter was so important that he did not dare to hide anything. In this way, you can also increase your own impression, so why not do it? Danglang. After Sha Guofeng heard this, he dropped the jade pendant in his hand and fell to the ground. At this moment, he could no longer remain calm. It's so sinister that you'll have no descendants. Curse acupuncture seals the Dantian. Although he didn't know what kind of technique it was definitely extremely vicious, and a sharp light emerged from his eyes. No wonder. Sha Guofeng's face turned pale as he thought about his ancestors. No wonder the inheritance of the Sha family's ancestors was almost cut off many times, but it happened on this inheritance token. Uncle, now the curse on the token has been removed, but the person who gave it to the Sha family had ulterior motives. When Sha Guofeng heard this, he nodded silently. Of course he knew this. If it weren't for luck, the Sha family's inheritance would have been cut off long ago. However, it would be extremely difficult to bring out the existence of such a sinister thing. At least, it is far from what the Jinling Sha family can compare with today. My uncle has been wearing the jade pendant for a long time, and his Dantian has already been invaded by the cursed acupuncture, otherwise. After a pause, Yizan solemnly said, Uncle, I'm afraid the Sha family's inheritance will be cut off by Bing Ning. What? Yizan is now extremely powerful, and he can see the problem of the cursed jade pendant at a glance, which makes him have to be serious. No wonder he has still not been able to conceive a child after all these years of trying his best to inherit the incense. It turns out that the culprit of everything is this jade pendant. However, leave this matter to me. Yizan smiled slightly and continued. With the curse acupuncture removed, I guarantee that my uncle won't have a fat boy in 3 years. Tisk. After the voice fell, Yizan took out the golden needle with his right hand, then wrapped it with a physical enhancement liquid and submerged it into the acupuncture points of his father-in-law's Dantian. The energy poured into it, absorbing all the remaining curses in it. This method made Sha Guofeng speechless. Buzz. At the moment when all Sha Guofeng's curses were removed, the aura around him suddenly became that of a martial arts master. Everything fell into place. Of course, it was also because of Yizan's use of physical enhancement liquid. Quietly, Yizan also changed the fate of his father-in-law and his family, and at the same time he was involved in a larger whirlpool. Taking a deep breath, Sha Guofeng suddenly felt that his breathing was smoother, and his whole body was much more relaxed than before. Master of martial arts. Xiaoyi, you, don't say anything anymore, I'm so grateful. For a moment, Sha Guofeng was extremely grateful. Whoever robs such a good son-in-law from him in the future, he, Sha Guofeng, will destroy. Sha Guofeng was convinced at this moment, completely convinced. If it weren't for Yizan, I'm afraid they wouldn't know what would happen to the Sha family in the future. Ding. The host consumes 8 billion RMB and gains wealth of 80 billion RMB. At this moment, the sound of system consumption rebates came to Yizan's ears, which made him feel even better. Then, bring up the properties panel. Name, Yizan. Realm, early stage of martial arts. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, MAX, second only to tomato readers. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, immersive sound, God-level beast control, permanent experience of Kato finger, omnipotent music, medical fairy hand. Items, Diwan number, 1 Villa X1, 30 million extended version of Bugatti Veyron 100% shares of the group. Wealth, 271.6 billion RMB. Looking at the attribute panel, the corners of Yizan's mouth curved. Then, Sha Guofeng left the study with Yizan in a good mood, wondering how the Sha family could be unhappy. And the most important thing is that my daughter has found such a powerful son-in-law, and the Sha family will be able to protect themselves in Jinling in the future. This is. Sha Bingning looked at her happy father in confusion. She had never seen him so happy before. How did that guy do it? Ahem, sir. Uncle Fu came back with the contract and happened to watch this scene. Then he looked at Yizan deeply. This uncle is awesome. I couldn't help but secretly give my uncle a thumbs up. After just a short time, I was happily accompanied by my uncle. This is not something ordinary people can do. What's the situation? Sha's mother was obviously stunned at this moment. She knew very well what Sha's father was like, and she could let him act like this. This showed that her son-in-law was very impressive. For a moment, Sha's mother looked at Yizan with a look that made her mother-in-law look at her son-in-law. The more she looked at her, the more satisfied she became. After dinner, Sha Bining was in the boudoir of the Sha family villa. Husband, thank you. A little, Sha Bing said with moving eyes. Her man can make her father so happy, obviously she is the happiest. As I said, I am your husband. Chongpan shaved the beautiful lady's nose and said, Chongpan, if your husband is not good to you, who will be good to you? Besides, he paused for a moment, then pinched his beautiful wife's face lovingly, and threatened, if you are so polite to your men in the future, be careful and you will be punished. You. Listening to some guy's joke, Sha Bining's face turned red and she rolled her eyes. I'm not afraid. Jingle bell bell. While the couple was chatting, Sha Bining's cell phone rang, and she saw it was her best friend. Hey, Shiqing. After answering the phone, Sha Bining said with a blush on her face, as if she and her man were tired of being seen by her best friend. Bing Ning, I didn't disturb you in your husband's rest. Sha Bining's face turned red when she heard the sudden words. That girl didn't want to open any pot. Shiqing, what are you talking about? Sha Bining breathed a deep sigh of relief. The flirting just now felt unfinished and sweet. It was over. How could she feel like this? It was strange. After talking for a while, Li Shiqing took a deep breath and got to the point. I heard that the Song and Zhao families have blocked the Sha family's business, and the Sha Group's capital chain has a big gap. I have some money here, about 5 to 6 billion. I will transfer it to you first for emergency purposes. After a pause, Li Shiqing said apologetically, the old man, that fox, is determined to sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. I'm sorry that I can't help you too much. When Sha Bining heard this, she was inexplicably moved. Her best friend's move was undoubtedly a sign of breaking up with the family. Shiqing, no need. The money matter has been settled. Then, Sha Bining told the story about Yizan's 8 billion investment in Sha Group, which made Li Shiqing stunned. Even through the screen, Sha Bining could think of her best friend's expression. However, of course she can't accept the money. After all, her best friend's situation is not easy either. What? Li Shiqing sat up from the quilt with a look of disbelief on her face. Bing Ning, your husband is so rich. 8 billion, I'll give it to you. I didn't tell Bing Ning, your husband is too doting on you. For a moment, Li Shiqing was quite envious. Her best friend's husband was 10,000 times more powerful than Song Wenhao, no, at least 100 million times. Certainly, if Song Wenhao knew about this, I wonder if he would get up and fight Yizan. Grandma, I am already offline, so why should I be so cruel? That is. After hearing this, Sha Bining said with a blushing face and a heartbeat, my husband, no one will be nice to anyone who is not nice to me. That arrogant look seems to be saying that my husband is good to me. Is there anything wrong with my pride? Yizan, who suddenly looked at him, was stunned. When did this girl have her wits about her? Li Shiqing. Your husband is rich and treats you well. You must be great. For a moment, Li Shiqing was speechless and sour. To be honest, no girl could refuse such a doting and domineering husband. Good guy. During the time I left Jinling, how did my best friend discover such a potential stock? I am so envious. What should I do if I am too envious? You two go ahead and flirt. My light bulb went out. Sighing, Li Shiqing hung up the phone, leaving behind a confused Xia Bining opposite, staring at the phone blankly. Ah, what is the light bulb? Shiqing has misunderstood something. Ah. The next day, early morning. Good morning, miss. Good morning, uncle. The maids sounded sweet voices, but then whispered. Wow, miss looks better than yesterday. Yeah, I'm so envious of you, my uncle, you're so awesome. You should have exercised a lot yesterday. Miss, you are so happy. My future boyfriend will be half as powerful as my uncle, and I can wake up from my dreams with a smile. Quote. Listening to the mutterings of the maids, Xia Bingning was so embarrassed that she could dig out 3 rooms and 1 living room with her toes. To be honest, at that moment she had the urge to hang these maids up and beat them. I am my employer after all, so talking about my master like this is too much. But, why is it that instead of being angry, I feel sweet and strange? How could this happen? After calming down, Xia Bingning saw Uncle Fu and asked curiously, Uncle Fu, where are my parents? Oh, Uncle Fu looked deeply at his young lady and uncle, and couldn't help but sigh that it's better to be young. Obviously, he blindly guessed what happened last night as a matter of course. After all, he had been there, and no one had ever been young. Miss, the master and his wife took Xinshentongtong out to play. After Xia Bingning heard this, she glared at someone without any trace, afraid of disturbing them. At this moment, she had a strong urge to beat Yizan to death. Hateful, she wanted to get up a long time ago, it's all this guy's fault, he's so bad. Uncle Fu, let's go first. After weighing for a moment, Xia Bingning took Yizan's hand and fled the scene in embarrassment, using the 36 strategies. Xia Bingning didn't relax until she left the villa. Look at you, what a good thing you did, they all misunderstood. Xia Bingning rolled her eyes. She knew yesterday that she would not cooperate with that guy. She must be careful not to let him succeed next time. Misunderstand. No, yesterday you clearly said not to stop. Xia Bingning. While talking, the 2 of them arrived at Dylan Group. GG. As the supercar stopped, opened the door and got out of the car, Xia Bingning was stunned. Dylan Group. What are you doing here? Obviously, next Yizan will have a showdown with his wife about his identity, and by the way, he has already used the smooth operation of swiping money. Hi boss. The 2 of them entered the Dylan building, and the young ladies lined up on both sides to greet the guests bowed respectfully. However, these words made Xia Bingning's mind flash, and her pretty face was full of astonishment. Old boss, what's going on? People from Dylan Group call this guy boss. Entering the elevator, Xia Bingning's beautiful face was full of disbelief. Yizan, you are the boss of Dylan Group. Good. Yizan raised the corners of his mouth, and then pinched the beautiful woman's face fondly. How about it, your man is awesome, right? Xia Bingning's mind was confused. She was extremely worried when she learned about the sudden rise of the Dylan Group. Who would have thought that it actually belonged to her man? In fact, this news was too sudden for her, and the impact was not ordinary. Awesome, you big-headed devil. I'm so angry that you kept it from me for so long, huh? Xia Bingning's angry face turned to the side, as if the baby was angry and you wanted to comfort me. If this kind of behavior were known to the outside world, many people might die from envy. Unfortunately, only one person has benefited from it now. Certainly, she was extremely shocked that that guy actually had such a big industry, and she couldn't help but feel pride in her heart. She had no reason to be happy that her man was so powerful. Ding! At this moment, the elevator arrived at the top floor of Dylan Group. Master Yi, you are here. Hello, madam. The elevator door opened, and a beautiful woman bent down respectfully. This person was Mu Hanzu, the president of Dylan Group. Mu Hanzu had been waiting for a long time when she learned that Mr. Yi was here. Not long after, I came to the president's office. Bing Ning, this is President Mu of the Emgrand Group. Yizan introduced with a slight smile. As for Xia Bingning's identity, Mu Hanzu naturally knew it for a long time. Mu Hanzu greeted with a slight smile. Young madam, you can call me Han Shui or Xiao Mu. Mu Hanzu bowed in a very respectful manner. After all, this was young Master Yi's woman, and she did not dare to make any mistakes. Besides, Young Master Yi was kind to her, and she didn't want to make young Master Yi and the landlady unhappy because of her. After a few words of conversation, Yi Zan got down to business and took out 2 contracts. This is the equity of Jinling Supercar Club and the equity of Qianjin Restaurant. Looking at the wise and intelligent Mu Hanzu in front of him, Yi Zan nodded slightly. The 2 will be merged into the Dylan Group from now on. Jinling Supercar Club. Xia Bining looked at one of the contracts with a look of disbelief on her face. Yi Zan, last time you bought a supercar for your cousin, you wouldn't have bought someone else's club. Obviously, Xia Bining realized something at this moment. Yes, it's too troublesome to buy them one by one. Yi Zan waved his hand, which made Mu Hanzu's mouth twitch. Isn't this young Master Yi a little too rich? It's too troublesome to buy each one. Sure enough, she can't understand young Master Yi's happiness. Xia Bining, it's too much trouble. Is this guy crazy? In a daze, Yi Xuan's began to swipe money, and then took out a bank card. Hanzu, the next task of Dylan Group is to open the Qianjin restaurant chain store, and this 10 billion will be used as starting capital. 1.10 billion. Xia Bining, who had not yet come to her senses, shrank her beautiful eyes again and looked at Yi Zan in disbelief. How much money does this guy have? I just gave Xia Group 8 billion last night, and now it's tens of billions. Qianjin restaurant chain store, this guy really dares to think about it. Not to mention his former best friends, not even the 4 major families in Jinling dare to boast like this to Heiko. To know, if you want to create a top-notch luxury hotel chain store like Qianjin restaurant, the amount of money you need to invest is like a bottomless pit. However, Xia Bining did not know that in just 1 year, Qianjin restaurants were blooming all over China and even all over the world. Of course, this was all for later. Master Yi, what is this? Mu Hanzu was also stunned. If Qianjin restaurant chain store can do this, Dylan Group will definitely come to Jinling. Han Shui will definitely live up to young Master Yi's trust. Taking a deep breath, Mu Hanzu clenched her pink fist tightly and secretly made up her mind. Bing Ning, you visit the group, I'll go to the bathroom. Good. Xia Bining is also very curious about her man's group. After all, the Dylan Group is now the biggest dark horse in the Jinling business world. Young madam, please come this way. Mu Hanzu was very discerning and led the way personally, and Yi Zan also walked towards the bathroom. But of course he wasn't going to the bathroom. A few minutes later, there was a corridor on the top floor of Dylan building. It's been a long time, come out. Yi Zan's calm voice sounded in the field, but there was a roar. About 10 people appeared at both ends, blocking Yi Zan's path. Bang bang bang. At this moment, a burst of applause sounded, and then Chen Ying came closer. This person was Zhao Yuzhu. Boy, we meet again. Zhao Yuzhu looked at the scene playing cat and mouse. It was obvious that she was convinced of Yi Zan in front of her, at least in her opinion. Oh, Yi Zan was startled when he saw the person coming. It was Zhao Yuzhu who was whipped away by him in Qianjin restaurant before. HMPH. Seeing Yi Zan's indifferent face, a top expert next to Zhao Yuzhu's eyes flashed sharply. Miss, I'm here to meet him. Tisk. The figure flashed, and the next moment he hit Yi Zan hard with a punch, very fast. Snapped. The man was slapped away by Yi Zan before he could get close, and he fainted before he could even scream. What? The expressions of the other 2 top masters beside Zhao Yuzhu changed drastically, and their eyes were full of shock. No way, that kid is actually a martial arts master. They would not notice the fleeting energy just now. Master of martial arts. Zhao Yuzhu's pretty face changed, and immediately she became ferocious. It was you who killed my brother Wen Hao. She was just skeptical before, but now she is extremely convinced. So be it. Yi Zan glanced at Zhao Yuzhu. This kind of thing was not in his eyes from the beginning to the end. Kill him. Zhao Yuzhu's face was full of resentment. The masters of the Zhao family hesitated for a moment, gritted their teeth and went to kill Yi Zan. However, Yi Zan narrowed his eyes. With a flick of his finger, dozens of god-destroying needles sank into everyone's eyebrows in the next moment, followed by shrill screams that echoed throughout the venue. In Zhao Yuzhu's horrified gaze, everyone in the Zhao family, including the 2 top masters, were all turned into flying ashes. It was obvious that there was bone-eating powder quenched on the god-destroying needle. Dozens of flying ash fell, and Zhao Yuzhu fell softly to the ground. Her face was full of fear, and she looked at Yizan as if she were looking at a devil. How is that possible? At this moment, Zhao Yuzhu was scared, really scared. I wanted to let you go, but you came here to seek death yourself. While speaking, Yizan walked towards Zhao Yuzhu, and Zhao Yuzhu's heart was in his throat, and his pupils shrank suddenly. What are you going to do? I'm warning you. I am one of the 4 major families in Jinling. The daughter of the Zhao family. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of Zhao Yuzhu. Your Excellency, you have gone too far. Do you know the consequences of offending the Jinling Zhao family? Seeing the person coming, Zhao Yuzhu seemed to have seized the opportunity. Money is an offering. Kill him for me. Snapped. Before the Qian worshipper who appeared in front of Zhao Yuzhu could speak, Yizan slapped him into blood mist. Yes, it was blood mist. A shrill scream came out, because Zhao Yuzhu's body was splashed with Qian Fang's blood, and his whole body was stimulated like never before. It's impossible, you are not a martial arts master. It's impossible for a martial arts master to film a half-step martial arts master's money offering into blood mist. Who are you? As soon as Zhao Yuzhu finished speaking, a golden light pierced through the center of his eyebrows, and the terrifying and corrosive power of the bone-eating powder exploded. He never spared his enemy Yizan, even if he was very weak. Zhao Yuzhu, you shouldn't offend me, let alone have evil intentions towards Bing Ning. Glancing at Zhao Yuzhu who was on the verge of death, Yi Xuanyan chuckled lightly and said, but don't worry, the Zhao family will bury you with you soon. When the shrill sound ended, Zhao Yuzhu turned into a handful of flying ashes. In this regard, Yizan's state of mind did not change at all, including the fact that the half-step martial arts master was turned into a blood mist by him. After all, not to mention a half-step martial arts master, even if a martial arts master reaches perfection in front of Yizan, he can only become a blood mist. Ding! The host spent 10 billion RMB and gained 100 billion RMB in wealth. With luck, an invisible aura mixed the smell of blood with the flying ash and disappeared. The sound of tenfold rebates suddenly came to his ears, and the smile on Yizan's lips became even wider. Then, bring up the properties panel. Name, Yizan. Realm, early stage of martial arts. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, MAX, second only to tomato readers. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, immersive sound, God-level beast control, permanent experience of Kato fingers, omnipotent music, and master of medical skills. Items. D1 number. 1 Villa X1, 30 million extended version of Bugatti Veyron 100% shares of the group. Wealth, 361.6 billion RMB. Looking at the attribute panel, Yizan was quite emotional, the early stage of martial arts. I'm afraid there isn't even a great master of martial arts in Jinling. You can imagine what kind of existence he is to Jinling. It can be said, all the families in Jinling put together are not Yizan's enemies with one move. However, grand masters of martial arts and even masters of the realm of martial arts definitely exist. At least, the caster who gave the jade pendant to the ancestors of the Shah family was probably at least a martial spirit, or higher, although that was hundreds of years ago. Owner. But at this moment, Shenqi appeared on the scene and knelt down on one knee. Long before the master came here, he had already emptied the Dylan building of people. He naturally saw the scene just now, especially the scene where the master slapped the half-step martial arts master into blood mist, which shocked him even more about the master's strength. Boss Shenhao can't do this, but the master's strength is at least a martial arts master. Looking at Shenqi in front of him, Yizan nodded slightly and looked in the direction of the Zhao family in Jinling. Since Zhao Yuzhu is looking for death, then the Zhao family should be destroyed. Yes, master, Shenqi responded respectfully, and then narrowed his eyes. I will contact the boss of Shenhao immediately. Go ahead. Yizan waved his hand, looked at the empty field, turned around and walked towards the president's office. Bing Ning's wife would probably be impatient after leaving for too long. Congratulations, master. Shenqi bowed respectfully to see him off. It wasn't until Yizan left the field of vision that he came back to his senses. His eyes were filled with blazing heat. Master, you are really a strange person. It looks like Jinling is going to become one of the 3 major families. Chapter 51. Dylan Group, outside the president's office. Master Yi, walk slowly. Mu Hanzu bowed and dressed, and after standing up again, Special Secretary Lily took a deep breath. She originally thought that the CEO was pretty enough, but she didn't expect that young Master Yi's woman was even more beautiful than the CEO. Correct. In the elevator, Sha Bining asked curiously, I just went to the toilet. How long did it take? Yes. Yi Zhan waved his hand indifferently and continued, don't you know how powerful your man's inventory is? Sha Bining. After listening to a certain guy's words, Sha Bining's face turned red and she glared at him. Sigh, you're going to die for actually speaking like a tiger or a wolf on such an occasion. In fact, Sha Bining's heart suddenly struck, this guy really dared to say anything, really. This moment, Sha Bining had an unprecedented strong urge to bite him to death, but she knew that she could never do that in this place with surveillance. Tiger and wolf words, how could that be? I'm just telling the truth. Yi Zhan said indifferently, and Sha Bining's forehead was filled with black lines. You're awesome, okay. Sha Bining was really scared and didn't dare to argue with this guy about this topic again, for fear that he would say excessive words again. Wife Bing-ning, what do you mean I'm awesome? His big hands wrapped around his slender waist, and a magnetic voice spoke next to his delicate earlobe. Tonight, my husband will let you see how powerful your man is. You. Sha Bing-ning pinched someone's weak point with her delicate hand, her face was flushed, and the scenes that might happen in the evening appeared in her mind. The amorous feelings were extremely beautiful. That big soul is disgusting. I just know how to bully myself, But. Why are you still enjoying it? Sha Bining, you must be sick. Jinling, Zhao family manor. What did you say? In the villa, Zhao Tianlong, the head of the Zhao family, stood up with eyes full of anger, and the aura of a top expert spread around him. Yuzhu took the money as an offering and went to the Dylan Group to seek revenge. I haven't returned yet, and I can't even get in touch with him to pay for the donation. How brave. Zhao Tianlong's eyes were full of murderous intent. In this land of Jinling, if you touch my Zhao Tianlong's daughter, you are seeking death. Yeah. At this moment, a voice came from outside the villa, and then 5 figures appeared in the field, the one leading them was Shen Si. PFF'd. A man covered in blood came in from outside the villa and fell at Zhao Tianlong's feet. Master, they are dead. All dead. The top master swallowed his saliva and looked at the 4th Shen and others with horror and horror. They killed all the masters of the Zhao family. Boom. Hearing this, Zhao Tianlong's mind went blank. Are you kidding? As one of the 4 major families, the Jinling Zhao family has more than 300 second-rate masters, and nearly 100 first-rate masters. 1 martial arts master, 4 half-step martial arts masters. Feeling the aura of the 4th class of gods, Zhao Tianlong's heart sank. This lineup is stronger than any of the 4 major families in Jinling. What's more important is that these people are at most 30 years old. Jinling Zhao family, it's your fault that your good daughter offended my master. Owner. Zhao Tianlong's heart sank. He was certainly not a fool after being able to control the Zhao family for decades. Now the martial arts master was respectfully calling him the master. That person's background was absolutely terrifying. Sir, if you just retreat, I will pretend that what happened today never happened. Master, Before the top expert's subordinate could finish speaking, Zhao Tianlong glared back at him. Shut up. Haha, he is capable of bending and stretching. He is a character. Shen Si narrowed his eyes slightly and continued. But, unfortunately, the master of your life is in danger. Kill, leave no one behind. Yes, the 4 gods. 5 figures turned into streams of light and rushed towards Zhao Tianlong and others, which made Zhao Tianlong's eyes full of stern eyes. Bold. If that's the case, let's fight to the death. As Zhao Tianlong's voice fell, a figure appeared beside him. Zhao Tianlong bowed respectfully. Second uncle, please trouble you. No problem. The martial arts master of the Zhao family looked cold. Then let's fight. The aura of the martial arts master filled the air, which made Zhao Tianlong feel reassured. The two Zhao families secretly worshipped the martial arts masters on the side and swallowed their saliva, forcing themselves not to escape. You are worthy of a fight. Shen Si glanced at the martial arts master of the Zhao family, raised his hand and punched out with great speed. Not good. Before the martial arts master of the Zhao family could react, he was punched in the center. His heart exploded on the spot, and his pupils shrank suddenly. PFF'd, you. How is this possible in the late stage of martial arts master? With strong unwillingness, the Zhao family's martial arts master turned into a corpse and was killed with one blow. Second uncle. Seeing the Zhao family's martial arts master being killed, Zhao Tianlong's face was full of ferocity. Asshole, I want you to be buried with me. If you touch my Zhao family, my son Yuyun will make you pay with blood. Kill. As soon as Zhao Tianlong made a move, his head was chopped off with a Tang Dao. The top master died immediately, and the one who made the move was one of the 72 divine guards. Chi-Chi. After 10 breaths, everyone in the Zhao family was wiped out. He looked at the God 4 and narrowed his eyes. Zhao Yuyun. 4 great masters. Zhao Yuyun is the eldest son of Zhao and the inspector of the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association. Oh, after hearing what his subordinates said, Shen Si thought for a moment, I didn't expect that the Zhao family is quite extraordinary. Pay close attention to this Zhao Yuyun. Once discovered, kill on the spot. Shen Si didn't care about the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association at all. Not to mention the inspector, even if the entire Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association offended its master, he would not hesitate to wipe it out. Yes, the 4 gods. Then, the 4 gods and others left the field, leaving behind a strong smell of blood that spread to the 4 extremes. Not long after the group left, a group of people appeared on the scene. If Sha Guofeng were here, he would definitely recognize this person as Song Qingtian, the second master of the Song family who was instigating discord. This is. Song Qingtian looked at the field with a face full of disbelief, and soon his expression became solemn. Second master, the Zhao family has been destroyed. The Zhao family's martial arts masters and half-step martial arts masters were all killed. Hiss. Song Qingtian took a breath of cold air, his calves were cramping for a while, and cold sweat broke out on his back. What a cruel method. Jinling, it's been such a troubled time. Song Qingtian naturally realized the seriousness of the matter. If he could destroy the Zhao family with thunder, that would be enough to destroy the Song family. Withdraw. With a cold face, Song Qingtian didn't dare to delay at all. If those madmen came back to kill them, they would all die. However, he didn't know that the person who destroyed the Zhao family was the person he wanted to kill by instigating dissension. If he had known about it, he wonders if he would still be so calm. The Zhao family was destroyed and Jinling was shaken. Immediately afterwards, the Zhao family's property was cannibalized by various forces in Jinling. Among them, the Song family gained the most, followed by the Dylan group. Jinling, Song family manor. Brother, what are you doing? Song Qingtian looked at his elder brother Song Qingyang in astonishment. It's too high profile. He never expected that after his eldest brother learned that the Zhao family was destroyed, he would acquire nearly half of the Zhao family's property in such a high-profile manner. If the forces that destroyed the Zhao family found out about this, the consequences would be disastrous. To know, although the Song family is the overlord of Jinling, it is not to the point where it can cover the sky with one hand. If all forces attack at this time, the Song family will most likely follow in the footsteps of the Zhao family. Haha, high profile. When Song Qingyang heard what his second brother said, he smiled slightly. Qingtian, this is nothing. Today, there are some things you should know. While Song Qingyang was talking, he then took his second brother to a secret room in the villa. When he heard his elder brother's words, Song Qingtian frowned tightly, obviously not understanding what medicine his elder brother was selling in his gourd. However, although he was suspicious, he still followed his elder brother. Enter the secret room, which is brightly lit. Father. Arriving at the secret room, Song Qingyang bowed respectfully, but Song Qingtian was shocked when he heard these words. Then he looked at the old man sitting on the Grand Master's chair in disbelief, filled with shock. Brother, father, is not dead. Song Qingtian's eyes widened, and he felt as if he was in a dream. You must know that his father had been dead for more than 20 years, and now he suddenly appeared in front of him. I wonder how he can remain calm. Qingtian, why don't you recognize your father? A familiar voice rang in his ears, and Song Qingtian felt as if he was struck by lightning. The long-lost call made him burst into tears. Plop! Song Qingtian knelt on the ground with his eyes filled with excitement. Father, it's great that you're not dead. Second brother, this is actually all arranged by my father. Song Qingyang looked at his second brother who was full of excitement. He was not surprised. After all, the night his father died that night, he was even more shocked than Song Qingtian now, but that has passed. Because next, the time for their Song family to rise will come. Back then, my father faked his death to make the Song family the weakest among the 4 major families. Listening to what his eldest brother said about the layout of the year, Song Qingtian took a deep breath and understood why his eldest brother was suddenly so high profile. The source of everything was clearly his father's existence. Father, you have reached the late stage of martial arts master. And besides you, the Song family also has 2 martial arts masters. In fact, this information had a huge impact on him. The 3 martial arts masters, and his father was a late martial arts master. Not to mention the destruction of the Zhao family, they could also destroy the other 3 major families in Jinling. Very good. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Even the image of the Song family uniting Jinling had already appeared in Song Qingtian's mind. The thought of that scene made him extremely excited. It's a pity. When Hao was assassinated, Mr. Song sighed, and a look of hatred appeared on Song Qingyang's face. Father, I have checked during this time, and Wen Hao's death is most likely related to the Xia family. Good. Song Qingtian took a deep breath. Father, that Xia Guofeng has actually become a half-step martial arts master. It is very possible that there is a martial arts master in our Xia family. Mr. Song waved his hand, but naturally he didn't take it seriously. After all, he could kill ordinary martial arts masters with one move. It does not matter. After pondering for a moment, Mr. Song continued. Next, the Song family's task is to destroy the Xia family and annex its property. But you have to do this at the minimum cost, Qingtian. After a pause, Mr. Song narrowed his eyes and looked in the direction of the Xia family. Xia Guofeng's daughter, tie her up. With her threat, it's impossible for Xia Guofeng to not react. Mr. Song said this, and after he heard that Xia Bingning had 2 evil obstacles, he became more energetic, and he would also enjoy it by then. It counts as a way to celebrate his return to Jinling. Yes, father. Song Qingtian's eyes were filled with sparkle, and the graceful figure of the charming daughter of the Xia family appeared in his mind. Naturally, he would not let such a person go. Mr. Song thought of something, and then said, to ensure everything is safe, I will ask a martial arts master friend to accompany you this time. Real. When Song Qingtian heard that a martial arts master was joining the battle, his eyes became sharper. Thank you, father. Villa number 1 in Diwan. Papa, Mom. When Xinshan saw Daddy and Mommy come back, she was very affectionate. Her appearance made the maids extremely envious. If possible, they would all want to be the young master's daughters. Shinksan misses you so much. Yeah, so is Tongtong. The 2 little guys talked to each other, and Yizan entered the villa holding one in each hand. Master, the meal is ready. Su Muyu's sweet voice sounded, arousing people's imagination. Such a picture is really enviable. Yizan smiled slightly, and the family enjoyed a quiet dinner. The 2 little guys giggled from time to time on the dining table. The atmosphere was indescribably good. After dinner, in the room. Come, wife, my husband will give you a massage. You must be exhausted after a long day. Xia Binning rolled her eyes and massaged. This guy's mouth is a liar. I do not know how long it has been. Only then did everything stop, and Xia Binning lost all her strength and snuggled into someone's arms and fell asleep beautifully, or maybe her beautiful wife was a little sleepy. But, at a certain moment, an undetectable murderous intention came from a distance. Although it was very faint, it was still noticed by Yizan. After all, he was now a master of the martial arts realm. It seems, there is also a martial arts master. Thinking of this, the corners of Yizan's mouth curved meaningfully. There are quite a few people seeking death recently. Now that you're here, stay here forever. After carefully placing the beautiful woman, Yizan put on his clothes and disappeared into the room like a ghost. He had only one purpose for this trip, and that was to kill someone. However, Song Qingtian, who came with a martial arts master from the other side, had no idea what kind of nightmare would be waiting for them next. The mountain behind Diwan Villa is deep in the jungle. Several figures appeared in the field, and the leader was Song Qingtian, who hurriedly came from the Song family manor. When he thought of Xia Bining's beautiful face and graceful figure, he wanted to make her surrender immediately to his crotch. Sir, I'm sorry to trouble you this time. Song Qingtian took a deep breath and looked towards the direction of Diwan Villa with a faint glow. No problem. The martial arts master waved his hand indifferently and continued. Your father saved my life back then, and the trivial matters here are not worth mentioning. Song Qingtian narrowed his eyes when he heard this. This was why his father traveled all these years. The two martial arts masters seemed to be the favors my father had accumulated over the years. I have to say that my father's methods were too high. Xia Bining. Song Qingtian's eyes flashed with sternness and he murmured, Tonight, I will definitely let you reach bliss. Who? At this moment, the martial arts master looked somewhere if he felt something, and a person suddenly appeared in his field of vision. Song Qingtian looked around and narrowed his eyes. Yizan, it's you. Obviously, Song Qingtian knew that Yizan was in front of him. After all, this was the person Xia Bining fell in love with, and he was very jealous. That's right, because this boy had slept with such a beautiful woman countless times. When he thought of this, he wanted to cut this boy into pieces. Oh, seeing the person in front of him, Yizan saw that his eyebrows were somewhat similar to Song Wenhao's. You are from the Song family in Jinling. HMPH. Song Qingtian smiled coldly. You have good eyesight. Tell me, did you kill Wenhao? Song Qingtian locked his eyes on Yizan. This issue was very important to him. Song Wenhao. Yizan heard this and said calmly, how should I put it? I didn't kill him, but he died because of me. Really? Song Qingtian's whole body was filled with murderous light. Boy, die. Kill him. Yes, second master. The masters of the Song family looked cold, and hundreds of them swarmed forward. The weakest ones were all first-rate masters. More than people. Yizan smiled slightly, and the next moment, a dozen figures appeared on the scene like ghosts, killing chickens and dogs and massacring the masters of the Song family. In an instant, more than 100 killers of the Song family were all killed, and there were more than a dozen divine guards standing in the field, headed by the martial arts master level Shen Shi. What? Song Qingtian was completely stunned. He looked at the opposite side in disbelief, his eyes widening to the extreme. More than 10 half-step martial arts masters. Impossible. Escape. The expressions of the 5 top masters of the Song family changed drastically. What are you kidding? There are more than 10 half-step martial arts masters. They don't have any courage to continue fighting. I want to escape, but it's too late. A dull voice sounded, and with a snap of Yizan's fingers, 5 god-destroying needles sank into the eyebrows of the 5 top masters. Ah! A shrill scream came out, and in Song Qingtian's horrified eyes, the 5 top masters of the Song family were directly swallowed up by the bone-gnawing powder and turned into ashes. Gouda. Swallowing his saliva, Song Qingtian's calf muscles twisted at this moment. Is that kid still a human being who rides on a horse? Master of martial arts, right? Yizan calmly looked at the martial arts master next to Song Qingtian, and raised his eyebrows. Take action, block my move and spare your life. Real. The martial arts master's eyes shone brightly, and he naturally understood at this moment that this guy's methods were far beyond his imagination. This was because he was a martial arts master after all, so he naturally had some confidence. Tisk. As the voice fell, the martial arts master's killing move had arrived, and a dagger-carrying Gangqi attacked Yizan. Snapped. Before the martial arts master could react, Yizan slapped him down, just like that. Song Qingtian's eyes were filled with horror when he saw that the martial arts master he was looking up to was slapped into blood mist by Yizan, and even the dagger he held was wiped away. I didn't even have time to scream. You. Fear. Boundless fear surged into his heart, and Song Qingtian was speechless. What state are you in? Joke. A slap will turn the martial arts master into blood mist. How powerful is this? Can the martial arts master achieve it perfectly? Give me a break. Is it possible to surpass the martial arts master? You are the martial arts grand master. Thinking of this, Song Qingtian's eyes suddenly shrank and he swallowed. 23-year-old martial arts grand master. Asshole, even the imperial capital cannot exist. Looking at the horrified Song Qingtian, Yi Zan's expression remained as usual. I wonder, have you ever experienced the feeling of being on the verge of death? What are you going to do? Ah. As soon as Song Qingtian finished speaking, a god-destroying needle sank into his heart. Then, Song Qingtian looked at his heart with extremely painful pain. The next moment, he saw that his heart was corroded by the bone-eating powder. The strange thing is that no blood flowed out, but the flesh and blood directly turned into fly ash. Yi Zan, you can't die a good death. Song Qingtian finally knew what that fool meant by the feeling of being near death. That guy was the devil. Yeah, Yi Zan narrowed his eyes. He would not hold back against his enemies, and then flicked a portion of the physical enhancement liquid into Song Qingtian's body. The rich vitality repaired his injuries, but he could not repair them and turned into ashes of flesh and blood. The most terrifying thing is, this makes Song Qingtian absolutely awake every moment. Hiss. Shen Shi looked at the scene and his mouth twitched, and he suddenly felt a chill running down his back. My mother-in-law is so cruel. Even death for that guy is now a luxury. Kill me, Yi Zan, I beg you, kill me, ah. More than a minute later, it seemed like a century to Song Qingtian. In the end, his head was swallowed up by the bone-eating powder and turned into ashes, and then he completely disappeared from the world. If the outside world saw this scene, it would definitely turn the entire Jinling and even the imperial capital upside down. Let's go. Yi Zan ducked out of the field, and even Shen Shi didn't react. Ahem, master, so strong. Shen Shi coughed dryly, and the scene that just happened appeared in front of his eyes like a movie. This would become an unforgettable experience in his life. Jingle bell bell. Not long after Yi Zan left, he received a phone call. Hey, Hanzu. Obviously, the caller was Mu Hanzu, the president of Dylan Group. There must be something wrong with the call at this time. Master Yi, I'm sorry to bother you. After a pause, Mu Hanzu continued. Today Dylan Group received an invitation to the Jinling Underground auction. I wonder if Mr. Yi is interested in participating. By then, Jinling estimates that all the top forces will be present. Oh, Yi Zan was stunned when he heard that the underground auction was an excellent opportunity not to be missed. Thinking of this, the corner of his mouth curled up, but he didn't know if anyone was unlucky this time. The next day, early morning. What? In the secret room of the Song family manor in Jinling, Song Qingyang was filled with disbelief. No one, including the second master, can be contacted. Okay, I get it. After hanging up the phone, Song Qingyang's face was solemn. Father, this. Before Song Qingyang could say anything, Mr. Song put up his hand to stop him. I have contacted him, but I can't get in touch with the martial arts master who went to Qingtian. I'm afraid something unexpected has happened to them. Mr. Song's face was solemn, although he didn't want to admit it. How can it be? Song Qingyang's eyes widened and he was filled with horror. Father, who can let a martial arts master encounter unexpected events? If this is true, I'm afraid the Song family will be in big trouble. Regardless of whether it's true or not, all masters of the Song family are asked to return to the manor from now on. No one is allowed to go out. Yes, Father. Song Qingyang's face was solemn. Of course he knew what this meant. The Song family was shocked. At the same time, there was an underground auction in Jinling. GG. The Devil's Son stopped at the entrance of the auction, and Mu Hanzu had been waiting for a long time. Master Yi. Seeing Yi Zan, Mu Hanzu bowed respectfully and did not dare to go beyond the rules. Let's go. Then the two people were guided by the staff to a private room and opened the door. Master Yi. A young man stood up from his seat tremblingly. This person was Qin Tianao, the current head of the Qin family. If the outside world knew that Qin Tianao was in such a posture, they would definitely be shocked. How is the Qin family now? Looking at Qin Tianao in front of him, Yi Zan smiled. Young Master Yi, everything in the Qin family is on track. After a pause, Qin Tianao continued. Moreover, the Qin family has established close cooperation with the Xia family. Well done. Yi Zan nodded slightly, and then took out 2 portions of physical enhancement liquid. This is a reward for you. Hanzu, you also have a share. Thank you, Mr. Yi. Mu Hanzu and Mu Hanzu looked at each other and both bowed respectfully, although they didn't know what it was. You're in luck. Shenliu glanced at the two of them from the side. People who are not trusted by the master will not give such good things. Drink it, it will have endless uses. After a while. Buzz, buzz. Both Mu Hanzu and Mu Hanzu trembled, and then a wave of waves emerged from their bodies. This is a first-rate master. Qin Tianao's eyes shone brightly. The two of them took a deep breath and knelt down on one knee. Young Master Yi's gift, we will never dare to forget each other. Get up. Then the two of them stood up and stood beside Yizan, but they didn't dare to ask him to sit down. Welcome all guests to participate in this Jinling underground auction. The first lot is auctioned below, Jinling number 1 land. The auction base price is 2 billion RMB, and each increase in price is no less than 500 million RMB. Wow. As soon as this statement came out, the whole place was in an uproar, and everyone's eyes turned to the auction screen with blazing eyes. What a generous move. Jinling number 1 land is a piece of fertile land. It's actually Jinling land number 1. Mu Hanzu's beautiful eyes were stunned. Young Master Yi, if the Dylan Group owns this land, it will be even more powerful. Yeah, Yizan smiled slightly and said meaningfully, then buy it. 3 billion. But at this moment, a familiar voice sounded in Qin Tianao's ears. Qin Tianao raised his eyebrows and looked at a certain box. Chen Xiaoqiu, is it him? Young Master Yi, that person is from the Chen family in the imperial capital, the mother clan of the eldest family member of the Qin family. Oh, Yizan hesitated for a moment after hearing this. He came to Jinling at this time, fearing that the person who came was not good. 5 billion. However, this has nothing to do with him. It's best not to mess with him, otherwise he won't care about the Chen family in the imperial capital. Qin Tianao. Well, it seems that my reminder is completely unnecessary, but with Yi Xiao's methods, Chen Xiaoqiu may be in trouble, and even the Chen family may be in trouble. That kid is interesting. In the Chen family's box in the imperial capital, Chen Xiaoqiu looked at the box where Yizan was. At this time, a martial arts master behind him frowned. Master, it seems that Qin Tianao is also in that box. 6 billion. Hearing this, Chen Xiaoqiu narrowed his eyes. The reason he came to Jinling was to find a way to transfer the Qin family's property to the Chen family's name. 10 billion. In the box, Yizan eloquently said that he didn't feel sorry for the bidding at all. After all, he would only earn more. Jinling didn't expect there to be such a rich young man. Chen Xiaoqiu played with the jade ring, 11 billion. As soon as these words came out, the whole place was shocked. They knew that this person came from outside Jinling, but the ruthless boy from the Qin family in Jinling was not a fuel-efficient lamp. 15 billion. Mu Hanzu swallowed her saliva when she heard this. Young Master Yi went crazy. How can this Jinling number 1 land be worth so much money? It can't exceed 13 billion at most. The auctioneer's mouth twitched when he heard the price. Grandma said, that person is not Qin Tianao, but he is so arrogant. Ding. The host consumes 15 billion RMB and gains wealth of 150 billion RMB. While the outside world was shaking, the sound of rebates sounded in Yizan's ears, which was very pleasant to hear. Then, bring up the properties panel. Name, Yizan. Realm, early stage of martial arts. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, MAX, second only to tomato readers. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, immersive sound, God-level beast control, permanent experience of Kato fingers, omnipotent music, and master of medical skills. Items. D1 number 1 Villa X1, 30 million extended version of Bugatti Veyron 100% shares of the group. Wealth, 496.6 billion RMB. Looking at the attribute panel, Yizan's smile became even brighter. Maybe it won't take long for him to become a trillionaire. The auction ended approximately more than an hour later. Master Yi, I'm afraid there will be some trouble. Qin Tianao looked gloomy, and Chen Xiaoqiu had obviously led people to surround them at this moment. Hey, isn't this the Qin family's third bedroom trash? Chen Xiaoqiu came to the field, his mouth full of sarcasm, and there were two martial arts masters behind him at this moment. This was his confidence. I said that Qin Baikon's good-for-nothing cousin was killed, and it turned out that you were the one who took advantage of him. Snapped. Before Chen Xiaoqiu could finish speaking, he was slapped by Qin Tianao and flew away. Even the two martial arts masters of the Chen family did not expect the unexpected scene. Qin Tianao, you loser, how dare you hit me? Chen Xiaoqiu got up in embarrassment, his eyes filled with disbelief, because he discovered that Qin Tianao was actually a first-rate master. If you are disrespectful to Mr. Yi, I will kill you. Qin Tianao's eyes flashed with coldness. He naturally knew where Chen Xiaoqiu's behavior came from. In this case, he would strike first to gain advantage. Presumptuous. A martial arts master from the Chen family looked cold and raised his hand to kill Qin Tianao. Bang! Before the martial arts master could get close to him, he was directly slapped into blood mist by Yi Zan. The eyelids of another Chen family martial arts master who was about to take action jumped wildly. What? The martial arts master was slapped into blood mist, then this guy, could he be a great master of martial arts? Tisk. The sword flashed, and before the horrified martial arts master could recover, he was instantly killed by Shen Lu, with blood spraying from his neck. Shen Lu looked at the body of the martial arts master coldly, his eyes filled with contempt. What kind of person do you dare to attack the master? You. Chen Xiaoqiu looked at the field and was dumbfounded. Who are you? Horrible. Terrible. As the eldest son of a first-class family in the imperial city, he has met many masters. The Chen family of the imperial city has many martial arts masters, and his grandfather is a half-step martial arts master. You don't deserve to know. Qin Tianao's eyes were filled with a murderous glint, and he stepped forward with a dagger in hand, his eyes filled with murderous glints. Qin Tianao, what are you going to do? I'm warning you. I am the eldest son of the Chen family in the imperial capital. My grandfather is a half-step martial arts master. You dare to touch me? I will definitely let the Qin family destroy the 9 tribes. Tisk. Qin Tianao didn't hesitate at all, the sword flashed and blood splashed. Chen Xiaoqiu's pupils suddenly widened and he stared at Qin Tianao with disbelief. That loser he looked down upon actually dared to kill him. Thump. Chen Xiaoqiu's body hit the ground, and Qin Tianao seemed to have exhausted all his strength. At this moment, 3 rays of black light flashed through and then scattered on the 3 of them, sizzling. 3 seconds later, there were 3 more piles of fly ash on the ground. Gouda. Mu Hanzu and Mu Hanzu swallowed their saliva and looked at the field, their eyes full of horror. Young Master Yi's method was so cruel. Destroy the corpses and eliminate all traces, not even the dregs are left. She couldn't help but shuddered. Grandma, if they betrayed in the future, their fate would definitely be worse than that of Chen Xiaoqiu and others, although they had no intention of betraying at all. Let's go. After looking at the 3 piles of flying ashes, Yi Zan said calmly. After all, this was not the first time he had destroyed corpses and traces, and it certainly couldn't be the last time. As for who will be treated like this next, no one knows. ... In front of Villa number 1 Diwan. GG. The sound of the son of the devil's supercar sounded, and Yi Zan returned to the villa near nightfall. Papa, Papa, Xinshintongtong had been waiting for a long time, because they called Daddy and knew that Daddy would be back soon, so they waited. The 2 little cotton-padded jackets made the maids extremely envious. Even Sha Bining on the side looked sour and angry. She didn't get such treatment. Where have you been? Seeing the 2 little guys fussing with her man, Sha Bining said angrily, it's been a whole day. Why, do you miss your husband? Seeing the angry look of his beautiful wife in front of him, Yi Zan put down the 2 little guys and kissed her charming face. But it made Sha Bining roll her eyes and her face turned red. Is this guy crazy? He actually kissed himself in front of 2 little guys. My heart is beating so fast. How could this happen? I actually don't resist at all. In fact, Sha Bining was stunned by her reaction. Gululu. The 2 little guys yelled in protest, then stared at Yi Zan with their big and beautiful eyes. Daddy, we want to eat your noodles. Haha, okay. Changrong rubbed Shinxin's head and said with a smile, I'll make it for you right now. Undoubtedly, at this moment, Yi Zan was a daughter-in-law. Looking at Sha Bining on the side, she chuckled. It is estimated that only 2 young ancestors can make this guy like this. Of course, no one could believe that such a warm-hearted man had just photographed the martial arts master into a bloody mist. After dinner, the 2 little guys went back to the room with butler Muyu to sleep. For a moment, Sha Binning's heart was in her throat, as if she knew what kind of experience was waiting for her next, because this was no longer a day or two. Pattering. After the sound of water, the beautiful Lady Farong appeared in the bedroom. Every time this girl appeared, Yi Zan's eyes lit up, and today Sha Binning was wearing interesting pajamas. I have to say, it's even more charming. HMPH. Feeling the gaze of a certain guy, Sha Binning snorted. Of course she knew how charming she was at the moment, but she didn't know why she was like this. It was completely involuntary. Maybe. She likes to see that guy being fascinated by her. Jingle bell bell. At a certain moment, a video call came over and the video was connected. Mom. Sha Binning felt dizzy when she heard what a certain guy said. That guy actually connected to the video of her future mother-in-law. How crazy. Ahem. Yi's mother saw her son sleeping with his daughter-in-law in the video, but she didn't see her granddaughter realize anything, especially when she saw her daughter-in-law's funny pajamas and secretly said that the young couple are quite good at playing. However, this daughter-in-law is extremely beautiful. After chatting for a while, Yi Zan knew the purpose of his mother's call, and he obviously missed the 2 little guys. Real. At a certain moment, Yi's mother was happy when she heard her son's words. It would be great if you bring Shintong to Zhongcheng tomorrow. Then it's settled. I just won't disturb your rest, please be careful. Do. After saying that, Yi Mu hung up the phone, but Sha Binning's face turned red. Xiami, please control yourself. This mother-in-law said it was too obvious. HMPH. Look, you can't go to the balcony to answer Auntie's call. Staring at someone fiercely, Sha Binning then realized something. What's wrong? My aunt saw all my clothes just now. This. Yi Zan, you. Daughter necrotic. Thinking of this, Sha Binning wanted to find a crack in the ground and crawl in. How would she face her mother-in-law in the future? I really want to strangle him to death. What should I do? Well, Yi Zan was stunned when he heard this. I won't bear the blame. You put on the clothes on your own initiative. You are such a naked person, huh? Before she could finish speaking, Sha Binning covered her mouth. You will die if you don't speak. He glared at someone fiercely. That guy was so bad and hateful that he couldn't let himself get away with it. Come on, my wife, let your husband kiss you. I don't want it. In this way, some tenderness is inevitable, and then escalates into a tug of war. Opening parenthesis. 100,000 words omitted here. The next day, early morning. The golden sunshine was pouring down, and it was another day full of life. The beautiful girl opened her beautiful eyes and stared at the handsome profile beside her. She couldn't help but curve the corner of her mouth in a charming arc that made the bright sunshine dim. At that moment, it was extremely beautiful. This fool really doesn't have enough advantages. The scenes from last night were playing through Sha Binning's mind like a movie. Perhaps because she knew she would be separated from this guy for a few days, she was very cooperative yesterday. It was the same, but it gave a certain guy a big advantage, although, she didn't reject it. After breakfast, the 2 little guys packed their bags early. I was so happy when I knew I was going to my grandma's house. However, it would be better if we could get to Guishu village quickly, Yi Zan murmured as he looked into the distance. To detect the host's dissatisfaction with the speed, give him 300 million thunder and lightning gunships as a gift. Ding. Remind the host that the thunder and lightning gunship Shenwu will arrive at the villa in 5 seconds, please be prepared. Gone. Hearing the sound ringing in his ears, Yi Zan couldn't help but be startled. Wow, are you asking him to fly a helicopter home? Huchi. At a certain moment, a helicopter came from a distance and shocked everyone for the first time. This is a helicopter. Su Muyu was slightly aware of something, and her mouth twitched slightly. Maybe it was young Master Yi who called her. Master Yi. After stopping, Shenwu came to the ground and bowed respectfully. Sha Bingning was stunned. Yi Zan, you are crazy. No problem, it won't cost much. He waved his hand carelessly, which made Sha Binning roll her eyes. Isn't this a matter of just a few dollars? She can't keep a low profile. Wow, what a beautiful helicopter. Tong looked at the helicopter excitedly and clapped her little hands. Dad was so awesome. Surprisingly, this time they flew a helicopter back to Grandma's house. Daddy, great. While talking, the two little guys had already boarded the helicopter. Shenwu smiled slightly. The master was doting on the two little masters too much. Goodbye, Mom. The helicopter circled and took off. The Shenzhou's driving ability was extremely good, better than those of special pilots. Master, walk slowly. The maids looked towards the direction of the helicopter's departure with admiration in their eyes, and sent them off respectfully. Like it. Seeing the two little guys looking at the helicopter curiously, Yizan smiled. The two little guys were pecking at the rice and nodding their heads. They liked it very much. Half a day later, at the entrance of Guishu village. Woof woof. A black dog, opposite a group of 50 or 60 dogs. Boys, come on together. The black dragon said domineeringly, and when dozens of dogs heard the big brother's words, they shouted and swarmed forward, killing more than a dozen ordinary dogs in an instant with their fighting power. For a time, dust was flying. Ouch ouch. Soon, dozens of dogs were beaten by the black dragon in less than a minute, wailing again and again. Brother is awesome. It's so awesome, I admire it. Dozens of dogs looked at Brother Black Dragon, their pupils full of admiration. Huchie. But at this moment, the sound of a helicopter pierced the silence. Under the strong wind, the dogs' eyes were full of vigilance. This was their boundary. It's the boss. The Black Dragon now has amazing eyesight, feels the familiar atmosphere, and barks. Sha am I, the boss is back. Dozens of dogs barked excitedly. The village elder and others who were watching the dogs fighting under the pavilion were startled. This scene seemed so familiar. Landing slowly, the air waves subsided. Hee, Xiaohei misses us. After getting off the helicopter, Xingsun Tongtong looked at the majestic black dragon running over with its little feet. Ouch! When the black dragon saw the two young masters, his pupils suddenly shrank. Boss, help! With a whooshing sound, it fled in embarrassment, not wanting to be caught by its little master's claws. Oh, what a boy from the Yi family! The village elder and others all stood up in shock. The good guy drove a Rolls-Royce last time, but this time he drove a helicopter, and the look looked super expensive. After exchanging pleasantries, Yizan watched the two little guys chasing the direction of the black dragon's super exquisite bamboo house. Woof woof. Approaching the exquisite bamboo house, the black dragon attracted the attention of Yi's father and Yi's mother. Grandma. Shin Tong Tong ran towards Grandma with her little feet, and the smell of amnesty suddenly disappeared. You boy, you are quite prestigious. He touched the black dragon's head and fed him the physical enhancement liquid, and the black dragon swallowed it. Woof woof. The black dragon shouted to thank the boss, and then a super strong aura suddenly surged around his body. If an expert saw it, he would be shocked. It was a body-protecting aura. Moreover, the strength of Gang Qi far exceeds that of ordinary martial arts masters. Seeing that the car was not coming, Mother Yi couldn't help but frown. How did you get here? Where's the car? After confirming it several times, the fox asked. Grandma, you don't know that we are taking a helicopter this time. The two little guys were chattering, but they shocked Father Yi and Mother Yi. PFF. Ahem. Father Yi looked at his son in confusion. You brat, you bought a helicopter, how much does it cost? You know, in his impression, helicopters are standard equipment for the super rich. It's not much, maybe tens of millions. Yizan waved his hand and said, but his father almost threw the shoehorn at him. How many tens of millions? Not much. I'm a bitch. Prodigal. Is this still my son? After talking for a while, Yi Mu prepared a table of dishes. Correct. Mother Yi thought of something and looked at her son. Xiaozan, you and Shintong are just here. After dinner, why don't you go to Zhongcheng Hospital to see your uncle? Uncle. Yizan was stunned when he heard it. Others didn't know it, but he knew very well that his uncle was a half-step martial arts master. He was as strong as an ox, how could he get sick? This matter is not that simple. Mother Yi pondered for a moment, then continued, I don't know the specific reason. It seems to be a mission. In the afternoon, Zhongcheng Hospital. Special Care Unit. Ziyan, how is your dad? Yi Mu came to the hospital, sighed and asked. Her brother-in-law had been hospitalized for several days. It's still the same. Lin Ziyan's eyes were red. Her father was the backbone of the family. Not long after, her aunt Tang Shouting also came out of the ward, her face full of sadness. Xiaozan, you are here. Tang Shouting looked very haggard and had lost at least 10 pounds. Go and see your uncle. Sighing, Tang Shouting said. Yizan nodded and then came to the ward. Uncle. Yizan said hello, and when Lin Zhanghai heard Yizan's voice, his eyes lit up. Xiaozan, you are here. You. After looking carefully, Yizan's heart sank. Such vicious methods, 5 poisons Tianshui, no wonder his uncle is like this. This is something that even martial arts masters can't handle. Shouting, please go out. I'll have a conversation with Xiaoshuan. When Tang Shouting saw her husband, she sighed and nodded. He had liked Yizan since he was a child, so he was not surprised by this. Brother-in-law, let's go out first. Mother Yi glanced at her son, apparently asking him to enlighten her uncle. Soon, there were only 2 people left in the ward. Xiaozan, cough. Before he could speak, Lin Zhanghai coughed violently and his face became abnormally flushed. After a long pause, he finally spoke. I don't have much time, so I asked you to come. After I die, you can help me take care of your cousin and the 2 of them. Die. Hearing the uncle's words, Yizan raised a secret arc. As long as I am here, uncle, you can't die. The 5 poisons of heavenly water are extremely difficult to digest, colorless and odorless, and will eventually cause the internal organs to corrode and fester and lead to death. What? When Lin Zhanghai heard his nephew's words, his expression changed drastically. 5 poison heavenly waters, Xiaoshuan Yu. Shock. Lin Zhanghai was so shocked because he was told this name by the hidden old man after he was poisoned, but Yizan told him at a glance that he was poisoned, and it did not mean that he was sick. I can cure this poison. Yizan didn't say much. He turned over his right hand and dozens of golden needles appeared in his hand. The next moment, they penetrated into the various acupuncture points all over Lin Zhanghai's body. It would be difficult for his uncle to die without him. Xiaozan, what are you doing? Lin Zhanghai was extremely horrified, because he controlled dozens of golden needles to accurately penetrate various acupuncture points at the same time. This hand alone was enough to explain everything. Uncle, take this medicine first. Yizan took out a portion of the physical enhancement liquid. Lin Zhanghai looked at his nephew deeply, then nodded heavily. Okay. Buzz. Just after taking the medicine, Lin Zhanghai's eyes shone brightly, because under the influence of the golden needle, the poison in his body actually gathered at a visible speed, and the damaged internal organs were being accumulated at a visible speed. Then, Yizan introduced the 5 poisons heavenly water into his body. Detect the host until the poison enters the body, and the realm will be raised to the peak of martial arts. Really, feeling that he had gained an unknown amount of strength, Yizan narrowed his eyes, which was really an unexpected surprise. However, Lin Zhanghai's face returned to rosy at this moment. This is the martial arts master. Lin Zhanghai's eyes were full of astonishment, and he shook his hands. Not only had the 5 poisons been dissolved, but his strength had actually reached the level of a martial arts master. Even the illness that had been hidden for many years was gone. This method can be called a miracle. Click. At this moment, a burst of Gang Qi burst out of the body, and then cracks appeared on the ground under Yizan's feet, and then spread. The strong energy is released. This. Lin Zhanghai looked at Yizan in shock. Xiaozan, you are actually a martial arts master. Are you kidding me? A 23-year-old martial arts master. My God, even the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association cannot exist. Uncle, this is my biggest secret. 4 years ago, I became a disciple of an expert. Yi Xuanji had already thought of his words, but it only made Lin Zhanghai even more shocked. What? 4 years ago, I was obedient, which means that Yizan became a martial arts master in just 4 years. I see. After a long silence, Lin Zhanghai reluctantly accepted this information. 5 poison Tianshui, if it weren't for you Xiaoshuan this time, I'm afraid I would be in trouble. Lin Zhanghai smiled bitterly, and then said eloquently, a month ago, I offended a big shot in the Imperial Martial Arts Association and was poisoned by him. Listening to Lin Zhanghai's words, Yizan also understood. However, a big shot who can possess the 5 poisons heavenly water may be stronger than a martial arts master. Of course, what Yi Zan didn't expect was that Lin Zhanghai was also the inspector of the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association. As for the vice president of the Zhongcheng Martial Arts Association, he was just a cover-up. I have to say that my uncle has hidden it deeply enough. At a certain moment, Yi Zan noticed the murderous intention approaching rapidly in the distance without any concealment. Uncle, it seems that even if you are poisoned, someone will kill you to silence you. Oh, hearing this, Lin Zhanghai's eyes flashed with coldness. Xiao Zan, you mean someone is coming to kill me? Zhongcheng Hospital, deep in the jungle behind the mountain. Dao figures appeared in the jungle, and the leader was a young man with an aura that was half a martial arts master. There were also 2 martial arts masters beside him. Inspector Zhao, the hospital ahead is where Lin Zhanghai is. One of the martial arts masters said respectfully. Although Zhao Yuyun was only half a martial arts master, his master was the vice president of the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association and a great master of martial arts. Very good. Zhao Yuyun looked at Zhongcheng Hospital and smiled coldly. I didn't expect that Lin Zhanghai survived after being poisoned by the master's 5 poison heavenly water. But that's okay. He paused for a moment, then said with a cold glow, let me, the inspector, kill him with my own hands. Zhao Yuyun. The sound of rage spread, and then Lin Zhanghai couldn't hold back his anger and looked at the person in front of him. It was because he heard this that he was poisoned by the big shot of the Imperial Capital Martial Arts Association. Seeing the person coming, Zhao Yuyun's face was full of disbelief. Lin Zhanghai, you are actually fine. Shock. Zhao Yuyun looked at the guy in front of him who looked like a normal person, and his heart was filled with panic. How is that possible? How can it be possible that everything will be fine after being poisoned by the 5 poisons Tianshui? However, Yi Zan was stunned when he heard his uncle's words. Zhao Yuyun, seemingly thinking of something, Yi Zan continued, you are the eldest brother of Zhao Yuzhu in Jinling, right? The one who slipped through the net in the Zhao family. Boom. As soon as these words came out, Zhao Yuyun was shocked and looked at Yi Zan in disbelief. Who are you? How do you know my identity? The entire Zhao family was wiped out, and now he wanted to kill Lin Zhanghai and then go to the Zhao family to avenge his clan. Want to know? Yi Zan raised the corner of his mouth and said with a playful smile, I killed Zhao Yuzhu, and I also destroyed the Zhao family in Jinling. Puff. When Zhao Yuyun heard Yi Zan's words, blood spurted out from his mouth, and his face instantly became ferocious. The one who will destroy my entire Zhao family is you. Die. Zhao Yuyun's eyes were full of murderous gleams, but Yi Zan paid no attention to it. After all, he was not even 100,000th of a threat to him. Uncle, Zhao Yuyun will leave it to you. Then Yi Zan's eyes fell on the 2 martial arts masters. I will take those 2 martial arts masters. Click. As the breath surged, the ground cracked under Yi Zan's feet, and the expressions of the 2 martial arts masters changed drastically. Because they felt a strong and extreme threat from Yi Zan, which meant that this boy was stronger than them. Die. The 2 martial arts masters looked at each other and charged towards Yi Zan with all their strength. The method was extremely ruthless, and once hit, there would be no chance of death. Snapped. As Zhao Yuyun sneered, before the 2 martial arts masters could react, with a sharp slap, the 2 martial arts masters were directly slapped into blood mist by Yi Zan, and the strong smell of blood spread all over the place. What? Lin Zhanghai was dumbfounded and swallowed his saliva. Xiao Zan, this is. He took a deep breath and stared at his nephew in shock. 2 martial arts masters were turned into blood mist with one move. How powerful they are. At this moment, Lin Zhanghai realized that the nephew in front of him was 10 times more powerful than he thought. Zhao Yuyun was completely stunned, staring at Yi Zan in disbelief. The martial arts master was photographed into blood mist. Could it be that you are the martial arts master? HMPH. Lin Zhanghai snorted coldly and walked towards Zhao Yuyun. His nephew was so awesome, he had to do something. Lin Zhanghai, you think you are my opponent as an inspector? Poof. Before he finished speaking, Zhao Yuyun sprayed a mouthful of blood, and then looked at his heart, and he felt his heart being exploded. Master of martial arts. The Gang Qi lingered, and Zhao Yuyun's eyes were full of horror. Lin Zhanghai, you actually have become a martial arts master. My master will not let you go. With a strong sense of unwillingness, Zhao Yuyun turned into a cold corpse and fell to the ground. At this point, the Jinling Zhao family was completely destroyed. Zhongcheng Hospital, Special Care Unit. Squeak. The door opened. Yi Zhan and Lin Zhanghai had been back for a long time. Ward rounds. Lin Zhanghai, the attending doctor, brought intern doctors and nurses to check the ward. After a while, Ms. Tang, your father seems to have recovered from his illness. Dry coughing. Dr. Zhuang looked at Lin Zhanghai with a strange face. Although he didn't know what happened, he was indeed fine now. What? Hearing what the attending doctor said, cousin Chen Xian's pretty face was filled with excitement. Drive Zhuang, are you serious? My dad is cured. Ahem. HMM. Dr. Zhuang smiled awkwardly, because he was confused about this matter, but the data did not lie. You can complete the discharge procedures today. Very good. The aunt cried with joy, and then went with the doctor to issue a discharge order. Rong Chengkong, don't go too far. At this moment, the angry voice of the second uncle Chen Bing came from outside the special care ward. If you really think that I, Chen Bing, are easy to bully, the worst case scenario is that everything will be broken. After hanging up the phone, the second uncle's face turned pale. When the second aunt saw this, she said, the wrong family is threatening you again. Second brother-in-law, what are you doing? Father Yi was a little confused when he saw his second brother-in-law's appearance. This was the first time he had seen him so angry. The cousin sighed and explained it to everyone before everyone understood. Rong's group actually wants to forcibly acquire your building materials company. Mother Yi's expression was solemn. The Rong group was the richest man in Zhong City. They use their power to bully others. The Rong family really thinks they can dominate Zhong City with one hand. In view of the threat to the host's relatives, I will give Rong Chengkong a copy of the crime certificate. Oh, hearing the system sound ringing in his ears, Yi Zhan narrowed his eyes. Good guy, this is the rhythm that makes him stand out again. Moreover, you can earn a lot of money by the way. Mom, don't worry. Yi Zhan made no trace of his arc and continued. Second uncle, cousin, I know a lot of people in Jinling. I'm going to meet that Rong Chengkong. Isn't this bad? Chen Xiaoyang frowned. They had already owed their cousin a favor last time, and now they were embarrassed to ask him to help again. Moreover, this time the matter was not trivial. Xiaozan, you. Lin Xian wanted to say something, but was stopped by her eldest uncle, who looked at her nephew deeply. With his methods, even 10 Rong family members were no match for him. No problem. Yi Zhan waved his hand, and Chen Bing thought for a moment, I'll trouble you, Xiaozan. Watching the group of people leaving, Yi's father and mother could not say anything for a while. As for Lin Zhanghai's expression, his expression lit up. With Xiaozan's methods, the Rong family was probably going to be doomed. Half a day later, in front of the Rong group. GG. A stretched Rolls-Royce stopped, and Yi Zhan and the others got out of the car. The driver who followed the car was the Shenju who was responsible for protecting his parents. Xiaozan, what should we do next? Chen Bing looked at the Rong group building and felt uncertain. After all, this was the dominant presence in Zhongcheng's business community. Second uncle, just leave the rest to me. Yi Zhan's eyes fell on the Rong group building. If you treat evil people, you must be more evil than him. Hey, isn't this Mr. Chen? At the entrance of the lobby on the first floor of Rongxi Group, a group executive's mouth was full of sarcasm. Why, you are licking your face too. Snapped. Before the executive finished speaking, he was whipped 5 or 6 meters away by Shen Ju. He spat blood out of his mouth for free. If he hadn't been worried about the bad influence on the owner, that person would have been shot into a blood mist. Asshole. The executive looked as ferocious as a mad dog, but he was Rong Chengkong's confidant. Security guards, kill them. How brave. At this time, more than 10 security guards surrounded Shenju. Destroy them. With a crash, more than a dozen security guards swarmed forward, but the strongest among them was only a second-rate expert. Bang 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 bang. In an instant, more than a dozen security guards were all wiped out, lying on the ground wailing in pain, making everyone in the Rong group building dumbfounded. That guy is so awesome. Gouda. The second uncle and his uncle looked at each other in disbelief. This, Xiaozan actually had such powerful subordinates. Walk. Yizan walked towards the elevator, and a corridor appeared automatically wherever he passed. They didn't dare to offend this evil star. Not long after, it was in the office of the chairman of Wrong Group. I'm sorry, sir, you can't. With a bang, Shenju slapped him directly, and the door of the chairman's room was broken open, and he then guarded the door. Wrong Chengkong's eyes glowed with anger when he saw the secret who suddenly appeared unconscious. Chen Bing, you are so bold. I'm so tired of living. With a cold smile, Wrong Chengkong continued. Now, it is best to merge your building materials company into our Wrong Group immediately, otherwise I will let you have no place in Zhongcheng. Haha, just a Wrong family. Yizan looked at Wrong Chengkong, and the corners of his mouth curved. If my second uncle has no place in Zhongcheng, who do you think you are? You. Wrong Chengkong was furious and looked at Yizan angrily. Snapped. Without waiting for him to speak, Yizan put a bank card on the table. There are 1 billion here, and the Wrong Group will belong to my second uncle from now on. Ha 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 ha. Hearing Yizan's words, Wrong Chengkong laughed angrily. Boy, you have such a big voice. Although the Wrong Group is not as good as Jinling, it still has a market value of 4 to 5 billion. It is obvious that it does not take Yizan seriously and treats him as a fool. Yeah, Yizan was not angry, but looked at Wrong Chengkong jokingly, and then took out a USB flash drive. I advise you to take a look at this first. It would be a pity if such a good toolman could not be put to practical use. HMPH, just watch. Wrong Chengkong smiled coldly. He wanted to see what tricks this boy could do. But soon, Wrong Chengkong stared at the computer with horror in his eyes. Impossible. How do you have these things? Evidence of guilt. Yes, that was enough evidence to kill him 10 times, fear and disbelief. If the evidence of this crime is made public, his life will be over. Okay, I bet you are cruel. Clenching his teeth, he couldn't help but obey the irrefutable evidence. That was so ruthless. I admit defeat. 10 minutes later, Wrong Chengkong was picked up by the collar and thrown out of the chairman's office by Shenju, and then he looked at the audience with breathtaking eyes. From now on, the Wrong Group belongs to the Chen family. Wow. As soon as these words came out, the whole place was in an uproar, but Wrong Chengkong was shocked when he saw him leaving in despair. This. Chen Bing and his son looked at the equity transfer contract in their hands as if they were in a dream. Wrong's group has actually become their Chen family's property. Are you sure this is true? Dramatic reversal. It took Chen Bing and his son a while to come back to their senses. When they looked at Yizan, their eyes changed. Is this still the Xiaozan they knew? It's just, this gift is too expensive. Xiaozan, I can't have my second uncle. Chen Bing took a deep breath and said solemnly, thank you very much for helping me solve the crisis. This gift. Yes, Xiaoxuan. Chen Xiaoyang was also shocked. The information in front of him really impacted him too much. No problem. Yizan smiled slightly and continued. Second uncle, to be honest with you, I already have a company in Jinling. Besides, my parents are not interested in business. After a pause, Yizan continued. The way I see it, second uncle, you can just transfer 20% of the shares of Wrong Group into my father's name. I thought about giving money directly to my parents and they wouldn't accept it, but they couldn't help it in this way. This. Chen Bing pondered for a moment and still frowned. But Xiaoxuan, this 20% is too little. That's enough. Yizan waved his hand and smiled slightly. It's enough to support my parents in their old age. After some discussion, the second uncle agreed, but it was his cousin who looked at Yizan with gratitude in his eyes, because he understood what this move meant. The Chen family will take off because of today. Shenju. Thinking of something, Yizan looked at Shenju outside the door. My subordinate is here. Shenju responded respectfully. Yizan nodded slightly and continued. From now on, you will help my second uncle protect the Wrong Group. Oh no, the future Chen Group. Yes, Mr. Yi. Chen Bing and his son were shocked. Xiaozan had thought too carefully, but it also gave them some confidence. After all, the Wrong Group is more than 10 times the size of their building materials company. Xiaozan, I will remember your kindness to my second uncle today. Chen Bing took a deep breath. He didn't expect that the old Chen family would take off because of his nephew. He didn't even dare to think about it. Ding! The host consumes 1 billion RMB and gains wealth of 10 billion RMB. A small test of the skill, the toolmaker Rong Chengkong is also worth the money. Then, bring up the properties panel. Name, Yi Zan. Realm, peak of martial spirit. Age, 23 years old. Appearance, MAX, second only to tomato readers. Abilities, God-level driving skills, God-level cooking skills, God-level massage, God-level treasure appraisal, immersive sound, God-level beast control, permanent experience of Kato fingers, omnipotent music, and master of medical skills. Items. D1 number. 1 Villa X1, 30 million extended version of Bugatti Veyron 100% shares of the group, 300 million thunder and lightning armed helicopters. Wealth, 505.6 billion RMB. Looking at the attribute panel, the corners of Yi Zan's mouth curled up. This feeling of getting rich was really addictive. Second uncle, I'm going back first. After finishing the matter, he walked away, said a few words, and left with the 20% group shares given by his second uncle. I think my parents will like this gift. I don't know how they will react when they see this equity contract. Riding Ju Chen, Yi Zan drove towards the exquisite bamboo house. After leaving for a long time, the two little guys were getting impatient. The other side, Zhongcheng, Rongjia Manor. Bang! In the study, the delicate teacup was smashed to pieces, and no one in the entire Rong family dared to speak loudly. Chen Bing. Rong Chengkong was extremely angry, his face full of ferocious resentment. And that kid, I want all of you to die. You think you can play with me if you have the evidence of my crime. Rong Chengkong smiled coldly, eyes full of murderous intent. As long as all of you are dead, then naturally no one will know the evidence of my crime. Soon, Rong Chengkong came outside the villa. At this moment, no less than 300 Rong family masters have gathered in front of the villa, although the strongest ones are only the top masters. Tonight, I want everyone related to Chen Bing to die. I will kill anyone who stands in my way. Yes, sir. The number 300 Rong family master was so murderous that no one in Zhongcheng dared to touch the Rong family like this. I want to kill someone. Anger surged to the sky. Rong Chengkong was angrier than ever before, and the only way to fill the sky's wrath was to use the other party's life. Yeah, but at this moment, a figure appeared in the field, like a ghost. There were 10 people beside him. The first one was Shenpachi, and the others were clearly the divine guards. Rong Chengkong, you want to kill my master, you are so bold. Shenhao looked at Rong Chengkong with contempt. He dared to offend his master's majesty with his little strength. That boy's man. Rong Chengkong naturally realized something, and in a rage, he directly ordered his subordinates, those who step on the horse, chop them into pieces. Kill. Shenpachi didn't talk nonsense, and didn't even have the intention to take action. Tisk. The next moment, 10 divine guards took action, and all 300 Rong family masters were wiped out in an instant. It was a complete dimension reduction and crushing. What? The top master of the Rong family swallowed his saliva. Escape. Joke. 10 half-step martial arts masters and horse-riding masters, if any one of them kills him, it will be like crushing an ant to death. Snapped. Shenbei's figure flashed, and the next moment, the top master of the Rong family was photographed into a blood mist. Rong Chengkong's face was horrified. The top master was photographed into a blood mist. Asshole, who are you? With a sneer, Rong Chengkong's neck was wiped, blood sprayed out, and he turned into a corpse with unwillingness. Shenhao glanced at the many corpses in the Rong family manor and smiled coldly. No one dares to touch my master, not to mention Zhongcheng, even Jinling. Cleaning the field, retreat. 5 minutes later, the flying ashes all over the place were blown away by the cold night wind, and all the masters of the Rong family, including Rong Chengkong, disappeared from the world. The method was not cruel. Certainly. The reason for this is that I don't want to cause trouble to the owner, although the possibility of trouble is very small. When the Rong family was destroyed, Yi Zan happened to return to the exquisite bamboo house. Ding dong. Looking at the message sent by the mobile phone, he clicked in and took a look. Master, the Rong family has been destroyed. After reading the information, the corners of Yizan's lips curled up. It was as expected, but it was better to avoid trouble in the future. The richest man in Zhongcheng. In the face of absolute strength, everything is false. It can be said that Rong Chengkong was a clown in Yizan's eyes from beginning to end. No, to be precise, he was a joke. Even if there are no divine guards, Rong Chengkong and his ilk can kill 10 of them with just one hair on their head. After deleting the message, Yizan looked towards the direction of Jinling and murmured, "It's quite uncomfortable not having that girl around. Hey, it would be great if I could have some business talks with Bing Ning's wife Wen Kun." Exquisite bamboo house, brightly lit. "Papa, Daddy is back." Shin Shintong ran over with her little feet open, and kissed her daddy on the cheek. The black dragon barked around the courtyard to express her happiness. "Boss, you are back." The excited black dragon shook its tail. "If you don't come back, I will be tortured to death by my little master." After complaining, Yizan patted his head to comfort him. Although he didn't see it, he could still imagine the scene of 2 little guys torturing Xiao He. "Xiaozan, how are you?" Mother Yi asked with concern. After all, this matter concerns the eldest sister and her family. Rong's group didn't make things difficult for you, right? Hey, Yizan handed the contract in his hand to his mother, and then entered the bamboo house with the 2 little guys. As for what would happen next, he was not concerned about it. "This is..." Yi Mu came in with the contract and looked at it. "Rong's group was acquired and 20% of the shares were given to your father." What? After hearing this, Father Yi almost choked on his tea when he saw his name. The Rong group acquired the shares and gave him the shares. Then, Yizan roughly told what happened, but the old couple's eyelids jumped wildly. 1 billion. You boy. After waiting for a while, Father Yi looked at his son with eyes full of pride. His son was so outstanding that it was beyond imagination. Hee, Daddy is great. The 2 little guys were laughing and laughing. Although they didn't quite understand what was going on, Dad must be super awesome. To know, in their opinion, Daddy is the most powerful person in the world. It's been a tiring day today. Xinshintongtong, would you like to sleep with your grandparents tonight? The Xinshintong chick pecked at the rice and nodded its head. Yizan returned to the room with a slight smile. The next day, early morning. Daddy, it's so beautiful here. With the equipment in hand, Yizan watched the 2 little guys enter the forest. Bathed in the golden morning light, the entire jungle seemed to be covered with a layer of golden gauze. Obviously, he was going to take the 2 little guys for a walk in the jungle today. Especially, the fresh air lingering in the nose is refreshing. The air at this time is undoubtedly the best. PFF. About a quarter of an hour later, a figure came from a distance, and then spit out a mouthful of blood. The whole person's breath was sluggish, as if half of his life was gone. "Ah, Daddy, there is an old man there, he seems to be injured." Xingxin looked in one direction and chirped. Yi Xuanzun narrowed his eyes and looked at him, the martial arts master. Obviously, that old man is not simple. Whoosh! At a certain moment, the black dragon jumped into the depths, and dozens of figures suddenly rushed towards the opposite side, rushing towards dozens of people. Woof woof! The black dragon shouted and rushed towards the opposite side. "Grandma, how dare you act so arrogantly on my territory?" With one bite, a top Fuso master died on the spot. He didn't even have a chance to scream. The black dragon was really too fast. Beast, seeking death. Then, a martial arts master from Fuso narrowed his eyes and killed the black dragon, wanting to avenge his men, but it was obvious that he underestimated the black dragon's strength. Snapped. Before he could get close, the black dragon slapped him with his claws. In the eyes of everyone in Fuzhang in disbelief, the martial arts master captain they led was actually shot away. Phew! With blood spraying out and his face pale, Fuzhang martial arts master said with disbelief on his face, "How is it possible? How can I not be the opponent of a dog?" Ha! At this moment, dozens of figures appeared on the scene, led by Shenpachi. Kill. Shenba takes action and can sell it to you. Before the martial arts master Fuso could react, he was shot in the heart and received a box lunch. Hiss. The expressions of the remaining 10 or so people in Fuso changed greatly, and they looked at Shenpachi with great horror, killing the martial arts master in an instant. How is it possible for this guy? In a daze, more than 10 people in Fuzhang died, and they didn't even know how they died. Oh, Black Dragon looked at the body of Fuzhang martial arts master, his eyes filled with joy. Master Go is so powerful now. Then, after glancing at Yahailong, he turned around and walked away. However, what he saw at this scene was that the corners of the mouths of Shenhao and others twitched. That native dog was so strong. My dear, my master's pets are so awesome. PFF, cough. On the other side, the seriously injured old man's face was pale, and he spurted out a mouthful of blood. It was obvious that he had suffered serious injuries. If he was not treated in time, he would probably be a cripple even if he survived. Tong, playing here with the Black Dragon. Seeing that the two little guys were a little scared, Yi Zan frowned and took the seriously injured old man to the side, and soon disappeared from the scene. Woof woof. The Black Dragon swung its tail to alert the surroundings. Don't worry, boss, I will protect the two little masters. Thank you, little friend, for saving my life. Feng Juyu didn't see the Fuzhang master chasing after him. He was obviously intercepted by someone, ahem. While coughing violently, Feng Juyu took out a token from his arms. Little friend, this is the Jinling Martial Arts Association order. With this order, the Jinling Martial Arts Association can unconditionally dispatch young friends and repay the favor. PFF. Before he finished speaking, a mouthful of bright red blood sprayed out again, but its breath was obviously weaker. Yi Zan no longer hesitated when he saw this. That's all. Seeing that this person was not a bad person, Yi Zan casually took out a portion of the physical enhancement liquid. Drink the liquid next time to recover from the injury. He turned his right hand and took out more than a dozen golden needles, and then inserted them into various major acupuncture points around Feng Juyu's body with an ingenious method to stop his rapidly deteriorating injuries. Feng Juyu's eyes were so vicious, he narrowed his eyes and said with shock, okay. As he took the medicinal liquid, the injuries in Feng Juyu's body were repaired at a visible speed, which made him look incredulous. In his perception, this medicinal liquid was completely the same as the divine liquid. After a while, an aura spread out with Feng Juyu as the center, and then he opened his eyes and clenched his hands in disbelief. The martial arts master has reached perfection. Excitement was on his face, and if the outside world knew about this magical scene, it would definitely turn the entire martial arts world upside down. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.